Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera, salam menjulang Pendidikan Negeri Sarawak. Zaman berlalu jadi kenangan, panjang usia kelak bertemu. Selamat datang saya ucapkan dalam majlis Persada Ilmu yang berusaha pegawai-pegawai Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Sarawak, yang berusaha pegawai-pegawai pendidikan daerah, yang dihormati Puan BIBIANA Toh Siu, Guru Cemerlang Biologi selaku penceramah kertas 1 dan kertas 2, yang dihormati Puan ROSIANIE Anak Misur selaku penceramah kertas 3, guru-guru mata pelajaran biologi dari seluruh negeri Sarawak, murid-murid tingkatan 5, hadirin hadirat yang dikasihi dan warga maya sekalian. Kami dari pihak jawatankuasa penganjur ingin memohon maaf kepada semua guru dan pelajar yang setia menunggu kerana terdapat masalah teknikal yang tidak dapat dielakkan sebentar tadi. Selamat datang ke webinar Kecemerlangan Sijil Pelajaran Malaysia SPM Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Sarawak Tahun 2021, BENGKEL Pembelajaran Kecemerlangan Biologi SPM 2021. Saya, Cikgu Nur Azilah binti Mohd Nazri dari SMK Agama Miri merupakan moderator anda pada hari ini yang akan bersama-sama anda sepanjang sesi webinar yang boleh diikuti secara langsung melalui YouTube channel MyPPD Miri TV. Terima kasih kepada semua guru dan semua pelajar yang masih lagi kekal bersama kita dan sabar menunggu. Hadirin hadirat warga maya sekalian. Untuk makluman semua, webinar Kecemerlangan SPM ini merupakan anjuran Sektor Pembelajaran Jabatan Pendidikan Negeri Sarawak dengan kerjasama Pejabat Pendidikan Daerah Miri. Webinar Kecemerlangan SPM bagi mata pelajaran biologi ini merupakan satu usaha JPN Sarawak untuk membantu murid-murid tingkatan 5 menghadapi peperiksaan SPM nanti. Bengkel Pembugaran Kecemerlangan Biologi SPM 2021 ini bertujuan untuk memberi panduan kepada murid tentang teknik menjawab kertas 1, kertas 2 dan kertas 3 biologi SPM. Jadi, pihak penganjur berharap agar semua murid dan semua guru dapat kekal bersama kita dalam sesi webinar ini sehingga ke akhir siaran. Tanpa membuang masa, izinkan saya memperkenalkan penceramah kertas 1 dan kertas 2 biologi pada pagi ini. Cikgu BIBIANA Toh Siu merupakan guru cemerlang biologi. Beliau berkelulusan ijazah sarjana muda ekonomi dan diploma pendidikan matematik, berpengalaman mengajar selama 19 tahun dan kini sedang berkhidmat di Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Deshon, Sibu, Sarawak. Sebelum kita mulakan perkongsian daripada Cikgu BIBIANA, saya ingin maklumkan bahawa murid-murid dan guru-guru boleh menulis soalan pada ruangan chat jika ada persoalan dan memerlukan penerangan yang lebih lanjut daripada penceramah selepas selesai sesi pembentangan oleh Cikgu BIBIANA nanti. Saya akan membacakan soalan anda pada sesi soal jawab selepas selesai perkongsian kertas 1 dan kertas 2 daripada Cikgu BIBIANA. Jadi, tanpa membuang masa, dipersilakan Cikgu BIBIANA Toh Siu untuk menyampaikan perkongsian beliau mengenai teknik menjawab biologi kertas 1 dan kertas 2 SPM. Dipersilakan Cikgu.
Nur Azila. Dan bertuah kerana boleh bersama-sama semua pegawai JPN, PPD, guru-guru biologi, murid-murid tingkatan 5 aliran sains untuk bersama-sama menghadiri webinar ini. Kita berusaha untuk membina kelengkapan murid-murid biologi untuk menghadapi peperiksaan SPM dengan sukatan KSSM yang berformat baru. Pendaftaran mata pelajaran biologi format baru menggunakan 3 instrumen, iaitu kertas 1, ujian objektif, kertas 2, ujian subjektif, kertas 3, instrumen bersepadu amali sains. Kertas 1 merupakan soalan objektif yang merangkumi aneka pilihan ABCD atau ABC dan juga aneka gabungan. Bilangan soalan dia ialah 40 soalan, maka 40 markah dan tempoh ujian ialah 1 jam 15 minit. Kertas 2 merupakan item subjektif yang dibahagi kepada 3 bahagian, iaitu bahagian A, item terstruktur, bahagian B, item respon terhad, bahagian C, item respon terbuka. Jumlah markah ialah 100 markah dan diperuntukkan masa 2 jam 30 minit. Kertas 3 merupakan ujian amali. 3 item iaitu soalan amali untuk fizik, kimia dan biologi akan diuji dengan 15 markah setiap item. Mari kita lihat item yang akan diuji dalam kertas 1. Untuk biologi kertas 1, ia ditaksir merangkumi 4 konstruk, iaitu mengingat, recall, memahami, understand, mengaplikasi, apply, menganalisis, analyze. Ini merupakan contoh soalan mengingat. Mengingat bermakna recall or identify specific information. Soalan ini diberi simptom yang dialami oleh seorang pesakit dan anda dikehendaki mengenal pasti masalah kesihatan berdasarkan simptom ini. Ini merupakan tahap mengingat. Memahami. Memahami ialah translate material or idea from one form to another. Interpret materials or ideas, estimate trends. Ini merupakan tahap kefahaman, understanding. Contohnya, kolagen diperlukan untuk membentuk sejenis tisu dalam manusia. Apakah alasan terbaik untuk mengambil kolagen? Jadi, anda perlu faham apakah fungsi kolagen. Contoh item mengaplikasi or application. Application is using knowledge, skills and values in different situations to carry out things. Soalan ini diberi cap jari DNA daripada satu pasangan suami isteri. Daripada cap jari DNA ini, anda dikehendaki mencari apakah cap jari DNA yang mungkin untuk anak mereka. Jadi ini merupakan soalan jenis aplikasi. Dan seterusnya, konstruk terakhir yang akan diuji dalam kertas 1 ialah menganalisis, analyze. What is analyze? Means break down the information to small sections to understand in depth as well as to interrelate between the relevant section. Dalam soalan ini, anda diberi menu pinggan sihat Malaysia. Dan daripada pinggan sihat ini, anda dikehendaki menentukan individu yang paling sesuai untuk mengamalkan diet seperti yang ditunjukkan dalam jadual ini. Jadi untuk ini, anda perlu menganalisis apakah kandungan dalam setiap jenis makanan. Jadi, makanan ini sesuai untuk siapa? Ini ialah menganalisis. Mari kita lihat item yang akan ditanya dalam kertas 2. Dalam kertas 2, selain daripada 4 konstruk yang akan ditanya dalam kertas 1, dia termasuk lagi 2 konstruk yang tambahan, iaitu menilai. Evaluate. What is evaluate? Evaluate means make judgment and decision using knowledge, experience, skills and value as well as justification. Then mencipta, inventing, means generate creative and innovative ideas, products or methods. Kesemua konstruk yang ditaksir melibatkan 3 bahagian, iaitu bahagian A, item berstruktur, soalan struktur, iaitu meliputi soalan 1 hingga soalan 8. Bahagian B, item respon tahap, soalan 9 atau 10. Item respon tahap bermakna yang menghadkan apa yang harus dijawab berdasarkan skop yang disoal. Bahagian C ialah item respon terbuka, iaitu soalan 11 yang memberi kebebasan yang luas kepada calon menggunakan pelbagai pendekatan yang difikirkan sesuai dengan kehendak soalan. Kertas 2, Session A, 8 question, 8 question. And then the mark allocation is question 1 and 2, 6 mark, question 3 and 4, 7 mark, question 5 and 6, 8 mark, question 7 and 8, 9 marks. Then the total marks for section A, paper 2 is 60 marks. Okay, what are the principles can be used in answering the question? The mark is given to the correct answer. No mark for the wrong answer. No mark is given for repeating the facts in the question, and the wrong answer will cancel out the right answer. I will show you the example later on. So you should answer the question based on the mark allocation, and your answer should be written in the space given. So you analyze the answering space and mark allocation to decide how long you should write the answer. Normally, the space prepared is sufficient for the answer you write. And then, when you answer the question in structure, do not need to repeat the question. Jangan mengulangi soalan. Refer to the mark allocation to determine how much you should write, 1 mark, 1 point. Lihat peruntukan marker. Jadi marker yang diberi lebih banyak bermakna lebih banyak perlu ditulis. Okay, let's look at this question. The diagram shows the movement of oxygen and carbon dioxide in lungs. Name the process. So you are given a line, okay, to write down your answer, and it is 1 mark. So what you can expect is this is a very short answer. Okay, so you write your answer in the space given. Okay, anda boleh tulis jawapan di ruang yang disediakan. So this is simple. Okay, diffusion. Okay, or diffusion. Okay, then you can get 1 mark. So what I mean, you write the answer in the space given. So you don't write the answer always like maybe you write the what resapan here. Maybe some of the students they write answer like okay, not in the space given. So if you write the answer not in the space given, the teacher can treat this answer as your draft. this is not the answer that you want to write. It can be your just a draft, or you just make a note. Okay, so remember, you should write the answer in the space given. So they are students, the line is given, the space is given, but the student don't answer in the line, in the space given, but they write somewhere else that's around the question. So the answer which is not in the space given might not be marked. Okay, so the second question, a tree is planted nearby a cement factory. Plenty of dust is released from the factory, explaining how these conditions affect the transpiration of tree. Okay, so this is the space given. So you can see this question is longer, it requires longer answer because it's allocated with higher mark. Okay, so you can write your answer in the space given. Okay, in case, okay, after you write the answer in the space given, you still have some more to write. Okay, you can continue. It doesn't mean that all the answer that you write not in the space given will not be marked. Okay, what I mean is you can write your answer. So for example, you write your answer. So and then after the last line given, but you still want to write some more, so you can write. Okay, you can write your answer here. So the teacher will read like this. What I mean is you write your answer somewhere like this uh like low light intensity. Okay, so if you write your answer not in the space given and then not continuous from the previous answer, you have a point like low light intensity. So like this, the answer will not be marked. Understand? Okay, I hope you are clear about this. Any question you can ask later. Okay, not repeating for question. So do not repeat the information given in the question. So example, okay, diagram show the formation of xylem vessel through process X. The plant cell undergo the process of differentiation. So the plant cell undergo the process of differentiation. So this is the information given in the question. So then the question asks, name process X. So you're studying about the process where the cell uh, become a specific cell with specific function. So what is the process? Apakah proses itu? The cell mengalami pembezaan. Jadi soalan tanya apakah proses S? So the answer can be cell specialization or cell differentiation. Then you look at the question again. So I told you, you don't repeat the information in the question. Jangan mengulangi maklumat yang diberi dalam soalan. So you don't repeat the information means the cell differentiation cannot be accepted here. Understand? Because it is in the question. So the answer that is acceptable is cell specialization, pengkhususan sel. Bukan pembezaan sel tidak betul, tapi kerana proses pembezaan itu sudah dimaklumkan dalam soalan. Jadi dia tidak diterima sebagai jawapan di sini. Okay, then the same question, but different way of asking the question. So the plant cell undergo process S to form specialized cell with specific function. So what is process X? So now, form specialized cells with specific function. So what is process X? So in this case, so I give you choose, I let you choose the answer. Whether cell specialization is more accurate or cell differentiation is more accurate. Refer back to the question again. So the cell under process S to form specialized cell with specific function. So in this case, the answer should be cell differentiation because in the question already mentioned to form specialized cell with specific function. So the process X we should accept as cell differentiation. Okay, clear? Then example 2. Diagram shows a plant cell that emerge in the hypertonic solution undergo plasmolysis. Explain how this happens. Okay, so a diagram that shows a plant cell that emerge in the hypertonic solution that undergo plasmolysis. So what is the answer? So we look at how the student answer the question. Okay, the student will write the solution is hypertonic to the cell set of plant cell. Water diffuses out from the plant cell by osmosis. The plant cell is plasmolysed, Barcode's ring, then plasma membrane pulled away from cell wall. So now we check back the question. So the question already say that the plant cell is immersed in the hypertonic solution and then it undergo plasmolysis. So check back the answer. So the solution is hypertonic to the cell side of plant cell. So is it repeat the question? Yeah, it is repeat the question. So this one is correct, but it is not accepted here. There's no mark for this point. Okay, there's no mark for this point. Do you understand? Okay, then water diffuses out from the plant cell by osmosis. Yes, correct. This is what happened. The plant cell is plasmolysed. So does this sentence repeat the information given in the question? Okay, the question says the plant cell undergo plasmolysis. And the student write down the plant cell is plasmolysed. Yeah, that's mean the plant cell is undergo plasmolysis. Okay, so this statement also no mark. Okay, it doesn't mean that this is wrong, but because the information is given in the question, so the mark will not be given to any information that is repeated that you copy from the question. Okay, then barcode string, yes, correct. Plasma membrane pull away from cell wall, yes, correct. Okay, so this answer can get maximum 2 marks. Okay, then follow the instruction given. If the instruction say tick, you tick. Do not use close. For example, tick 3 correct function of skin. So what are the correct three correct function of skin? Okay, regulating body temperature, yes. Okay, then eliminating urea, yes. As a protective layer, yes. So these are the 3 correct functions. So how about if the question say tick 3 and then you tick 4? Okay, so you tick 4, you can minus 1 mark. So how about you tick 5? All correct. So you think is if I take 5, there should be at least 3 correct, so I can get full mark. No, it can be 0 mark. Okay, it can be 0 mark because you are guessing the answer. Okay, then when you ask to match, you draw line. Okay, draw line. Okay, so you match the fish. Okay, with the preservative method. Okay, by adding salt, and then the strawberry is preserved by adding sugar. Okay, draw and label. So this is one of the questions asking in the previous SPN exam. So you are asked to draw a plant cell in the hypertonic solution. So when you draw, you need to label the basic structure. Okay, that you draw. So for example, you should have cell wall, the plasma membrane, the vacuole, and nucleus. Okay. So what is very important if you ask to draw a cell in the hypertonic solution, so the vacuole must be small, and then the plasma membrane pull away from cell wall. And the position of the nucleus should be correct. Some students, they draw the nucleus outside the plasma membrane, which is wrong. Okay, so the correct drawing will be given 1 mark and the correct labeling 1 mark. Okay, draw in the space given. So sometimes the question, the diagram is given, draw in the diagram given. So the diagram is given and then you need to draw in the diagram. So read the information and then to identify what you should draw. Okay. Then identify the task or the keywords of the question. So take time to read and understand the question, underline or highlight the tasks or keywords of the question, and then using the instruction guide. So you look at the question, try to understand the question and then look at the task or the requirement of the question by looking at the instruction guide. So what are the instruction guide? For example, name. So if you ask to name, give the correct name. Spelling must be correct. The answer will not be accepted if the spelling for the important term is wrong or giving another meaning. So if your answer is giving another meaning, sorry, no mark. Okay, don't simplify the answer unless it is used in the textbook. So for example, FSH, LH, these are the short form that is acceptable. But RER, SER, that is rough endoplasmic reticulum, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, this short form is not acceptable. Okay, so if the textbook using the term which is simplified, then you can use it in the exam. But if not, then it is not acceptable. Okay. So example, diagram below shows the adrenal gland. Okay, that involved in the osmoregulation. So name hormone L and M. Okay, name hormone L and M. So I purposely choose this question because normally in the exam, the space will be given like this: L, what is it, and then M, what is that? So if the question is in this, so it's very clear. So you just write down what is the hormone L, and then what is hormone M in the space given. But in this question, name hormone L and M, and then it is only one line. So you need to answer. So when the question like this, your answer should be clearly show that what is hormone L, what is hormone M. Don't just put the name of two hormones. Okay, understand? So you should put down L is ADH or antidiuretic hormone. So again, if you know how to write antidiuretic hormone, you know the spelling correctly, then you write antidiuretic hormone. Or if not, if you are not confident to write the antidiuretic hormone, you can put down ADH because it is used in the textbook. And then M is aldosterone. Okay, if you just simply put down two hormones, so the teacher don't know which hormone is referred to L, which hormone is referred to M. Okay, then give definition or define. The answer should be precise, with correct spelling, correct keywords. Use the correct term as in the textbook. Okay, definition perlulah pada. Okay, and then a spelling ejaan mesti betul, guna kata kunci yang betul seperti dalam textbook. Okay, example. Define osmosis. Berikan definisi untuk osmosis. So what is osmosis? I give you two examples. So for students, they may write the movement of molecule from high to low concentration. So what do you think? Adakah pernyataan ini cukup untuk menerangkan osmosis? Pergerakan molekul dari kepekatan tinggi ke rendah. Adakah statement ini cukup menunjukkan osmosis? Tidak. So what is osmosis? It's a movement of water molecule. It must include water molecule from way to way, from a region of high water potential to a region of low water potential across the semi-permeable membrane until equilibrium is achieved. So this is the correct definition of osmosis. So you need to give a complete definition of osmosis. Okay, what you can see is if you write a statement like this, it can be no mark because it is not correctly define what is osmosis. It's just like other type of passive transport. How many? Berapa? So give the quantity. Do not need calculation. Tidak perlu pengiraan. Okay, example. A somatic cell undergoes cell division 3 times consecutively. How many daughter cells are formed? So start with one somatic cell. So it divides. This is the first time. So one somatic cell will divide into two somatic cells. So the second time, the two somatic cells will divide. So one produce two daughter cells, then two will produce four daughter cells. This is two, this is four. So the third time. Okay, so third time, four cells will divide by mitosis to produce eight daughter cells. So how do you know this is mitosis? Because of the clue state that somatic cell. So the somatic cell, the type of cell division that occur in the somatic cell is mitosis. So in mitosis, each time during the cell division, two daughter cells are produced. So how many daughter cells are produced at the end of three consecutive time of cell division? Then 8 cells. Okay, no need calculation. You do not need to draw the diagram like me. That is, I just explained to you. Okay, so calculate. When the question say calculate means you should do the calculation. You should show the state in calculation. Okay, and then the unit must be correct. Answer without unit may be wrong. Okay, so example, an experiment is conducted to determine the energy value of food sample. Okay, tenaga makanan. Okay, tenaga, nilai tenaga, sorry. Okay, so the mass of peanut is 0.8 gram, mass of water 20 gram, initial temperature of water 29 degrees Celsius, final temperature of water is 66 degrees Celsius. Okay, so you are given information like this. So you need to calculate. Okay, use the correct formula and then do the calculation, write the answer with correct unit. So this is the calculation. This is the answer. Or you can write the answer in kilojoule per gram. Okay, so depends on how you calculate it. Unless the question is given the unit. So the question asks you to give the unit in joule per gram or kilojoule per gram. Okay, then you need to answer according to the question. Okay, now state. Okay, state means you give the fact, do not need explanation or description. Okay, but when you come over to the question will describe. Okay, state means nyatakan. Means nyatakan. And then describe is huraikan, explain is terangkan. So when come to the question to ask you to describe or explain, you give the fact. Okay, and then with explanation or description. So nyatakan, berikan fakta saja, tak perlu penerangan dan penghuraian. Okay, but kalau soalan suruh hurai ataupun terangkan, mesti berikan fakta dan terangkan. Okay, fakta tersebut. Okay, example. State two characteristics of trachea which are related to its function. So two characteristics of trachea means you just state. Okay, the question will ask you to state. And then this is the numbering given 1 and 2. So you just write down the two characteristics. So what is required in the question is only the characteristic, the structural characteristic. So you just put down the answer. Okay, so like this, maybe you write like number 1, you put down has ring of cartilage. Number 2, the student write down has muscular wall. And then, but the students think that, oh, there are still space given, so write down number 3 here. Okay, and then put down the answer for number 3. So if the numbering is given, number 3 will not be marked. No matter whether number 3 is correct or not, it will not be marked. Okay, bear in mind on this. So if you're given a numbering with 1, 2, so you just write the answer for 1, 2. So number 3, this is number 3 that you add in will not be marked. So like this question. So sample answer, the ring of cartilage is correct. Muscular wall is not correct. So you only get 1 mark. So number 3 is not marked. Whether it is correct or not, it doesn't matter. It will not be marked. Okay, understand? So we only mark these two. So 1 correct, 1 wrong means 1 mark. Okay, then instead of state, then I change the word to explain. So you come to word explain, then that's mean you are required to answer more. Okay, perlu jawab lebih banyak. So now what is the requirement? Apa yang diperlukan ialah structural characteristic and functional visual. So anda perlu nyatakan ciri-cirinya dan fungsinya untuk mendapat markah. Okay, so like this. Okay, has ring of cartilage. And then what is the function of cartilage? Keep the trachea open. Okay, to avoid it from collapse. Allow the flow of air. Okay, and then continuous or easy proper breathing. Okay, then has cilia. The function is to trap dust. Okay, prevent or filter the dust and then avoid lung infection. So this is 4 marks. Means the marks will be given to ring of cartilage. This is the characteristic. And also cilia or mucus. Okay, and then another marks will be given for the explanation on the function of cartilage. Okay, and then explanation on the function of cilia or mucus. Okay, understand? So this is 1 mark, this is 1 mark, This is 1 mark and this is 1 mark. Okay, then. State 3 importance of preserving the food. So what are the 3 importance? Okay, so you are given numbering like this, 1, 2, 3. Okay, you don't add in number 4. Number 4 will not be marked. Understand? Okay, so these are the answers that can be accepted. These are the answer can be accepted. So any 3 of it. So as long as your answer number 1, number 2, number 3 is within the answer which is acceptable, you can get a mark. Okay, but the same sentence, the same question, the space given is different. Now it doesn't give you the numbering 1, 2, 3. So only 3 lines. And the question asks you to state 3 importance. So in this case, you can write down more than 3. You can write down more than 3. Okay. So but you bear in mind that the first three should be the point that you are most confident with. Okay, Anda boleh tulis lebih daripada 3 kalau tidak ada numbering di sini. Okay, tapi pastikan kalau ini ialah 3 kepentingan, 3 yang pertama, 3 kepentingan yang Anda tulis itu, mestilah Anda yakin, lebih yakin jawapan itu adalah betul. Anda tulis dulu. Then you can continue with other point. Okay, so it may be only the first 3 importance are marked, or will be marked. Okay, understand? So if the question has numbering 1, 2, 3, you cannot add in your numbering. So that is the principle. Okay, if the question do not have 1, 2, 3, and then the question says state 2 or 3 factors or characteristic or importance or etc. So you can write down more, but you write the one that you are more confident first. Okay, understand? So explain. So when you ask to explain a scientific process, you give detailed explanation. No explanation is wrong. Okay, for example, a farmer spray the excess fertilizer to the vegetable in his farm. Explain the effect to the vegetable. So spray the excess fertilizer to the vegetable in his farm and then explain the effect. Okay, of course, the first thing you need to answer. So what is the effect? Then you explain. Okay, the vegetable become wilt. The excess fertilizer dissolves. What caused the vegetable become wilt is because the excess fertilizer dissolved in the soil water. Okay, so the soil water become hypertonic to the cell set of root cell or root hair cell. Then the water diffuses out from the cell by osmosis. Okay, so then the same question, I'll let you see the student answer. The vegetable become wilt. Okay, this statement is correct now. We look at the statement now, it is correct. Okay, but we look at the explanation. As I said, the answer can be wrong if the explanation is wrong. Okay, so the students say the water diffuses into the root hair cell. So this is totally wrong, right? Water is diffused out, not diffused into. And then the root hair cell become turgid. Okay, again, so the water diffuse out, the root hair cell become turgid. No, the root hair cell should become flaccid. So you see, the explanation given is totally contrast. So in that case, the vegetable become wilt, it can be wrong because the student is actually don't know about what will happen. The student maybe also not understand what is the meaning of wilt. Hanya ingat saja ada perkataan wilt ini, tapi sebenarnya tidak tahu apa itu wilt. Wilt mean layu. Okey, kalau layu, air tidak mungkin meresap masuk. Root hair cell iaitu sel rambut akar tidak mungkin menjadi segar. Jadi penerangan yang diberi ini adalah bertentangan dengan fakta ini. Jadi ini mungkin tidak diterima. How? Bagaimana? You need to explain. Give explanation on facts or steps, etc. State the method or explain why. Example. Okay, the water content in blood is lower than the normal range. Explain how pituitary gland regulate the water balance in the body. Let's look at the answer, the sample answer. Okay, pituitary gland secrete ADH. The wall of distal convoluted tubule is permeable to water. Water is reabsorbed. Urine is produced. So, look like all the answers are correct. But you look at the question again. The water content in the blood is lower than the normal range. So that is actually what happens in when the body osmotic pressure is high. So explain how the pituitary gland regulate the water balance in the body when the osmotic pressure increase. So when the osmotic pressure increase means the pituitary gland will secrete more ADH. The wall of distal convoluted tubule is more permeable to water. So more water is reabsorbed. So less urine is produced or concentrated urine is produced. So the initial answer given is 0 mark. Jawapan yang mula-mula diberi ini adalah kosong markah. Kerana dia kekurangan perkataan yang sangat penting ini. So what you can see is the student initially not answering the question. So memang pituitary gland secrete ADH. Correct or not? So, but in the case when the osmotic pressure is high, the pituitary gland will secrete more ADH. So then the wall of distal convoluted tubule become more permeable to water. So more water is reabsorbed. So less urine or concentrated urine is produced. So you should answer the question properly. Read the question properly and then your answer should be able to answer the question. Okay? Okay, now, some question will ask you to explain what happened if. Okay? To explain what happened if. So, diagram shows the transport of glucose from proximal convoluted tubule into blood capillary. So, glucose. Explain what happened. What will happen to the transport of glucose if structure S is absent? If structure S is absent. So look at the diagram properly. So what is X? So you should think about what is X. And then what is X so important in the transport of glucose into the blood capillary in the kidney? So this is about what? About reabsorption, right? Okay, so look at the student answer. S is mitochondria. Mitochondria generates energy through cellular respiration. Active transport can occur. Look back at the question. Does all these statements answer the question? Explain what happened to the transport of glucose if the structure X is absent. So any of the sentence answer the question? No. So this is 0 mark. The student only answer the importance of mitochondria, which is structure S. So what should be the answer? So without structure X, energy cannot be produced or generated. So active transport cannot occur. So there will be no reabsorption of glucose. Okay, so glucose will remain in the proximal convoluted tubule. Or transportation of glucose into the blood capillary will decrease. Or glucose is not reabsorbed into the blood capillary. So all this sentence is answering the question, what happens if mitochondria is absent? Understand? So you see, not produce, not occur, no absorption. Okay. Why? Start with because. Okay, example. Why the wall of artery is thicker than vein? Okay, you can start with because, or you just write down the answer is okay. So why the wall of artery is thicker than vein? Okay, so I give you two answers. Because the artery has high blood pressure, or because the artery transport blood under high pressure. Which one is more accurate? When you say that the artery has high blood pressure, so you know that high blood pressure is the disease. So you can say that a patient or an individual have high blood pressure, but not the artery has high blood pressure. Artery transport blood under high pressure. Okay, understand. So don't do this mistake. Okay, say that the artery has high blood pressure, huh? So artery transport blood under high pressure, or the blood in the artery is transported under high pressure. Don't use high blood pressure, huh? Okay, high blood pressure is a disease, is the name of a disease. Tekanan darah tinggi merupakan sejenis penyakit. Okay, jangan cakap artery mempunyai tekanan darah tinggi, ya. Okay, so this is wrong. Okay, then give suggestion, beri catangan. Give a suggestion on how to increase the ventilation rate during breathing and explain your answer. So, kalau kita pecahkan soalan ini, dia ada dua bahagian. Satu bahagian ialah beri cadangan, satu lagi ialah terangkan cadangan. So, you should have the suggestion and then the explanation. One suggestion, one explanation, then you can get 2 marks. Okay, so if you want to write more, you can write 2 suggestions, it's okay. You can write 2 explanation. Okay, but still go to the principle that you should put answer that you are more confident first. Okay. So what are the differences? So these you need to contrast or distinguish. Then you give differences only. So I give you 3 examples here. State the differences between the blood and the tissue fluid. Okay, so I give you 3 examples. So sample answer 1, blood contain erythrocyte. So blood, it talk about blood, it talk about tissue fluid, and then the aspect that is compared is erythrocyte. Okay, then the second statement talk about blood, talk about tissue fluid, then the aspect that compare is plasma protein. Okay, then for sample answer 2, the first sentence totally talk about blood only, no tissue fluid. Then the second sentence is about tissue fluid, no blood. So what we can see is this one is totally no comparison. So in order to compare, you should have the blood, you should have the tissue fluid, and then what is the aspect? Okay, how about sample answer 3? Sample answer 3, so you have blood, have tissue fluid, and then compare 2 aspects at one time. When you compare 2 aspects at one time, it can be correct, but with only 1 mark. So in this 3 sample answer, only sample answer 1 can get full mark, which is 2. Okay, understand? So never write the comparison like this. Okay, blood contain erythrocyte and plasma protein. That is totally no comparison. Okay, and then tissue fluid does not contain erythrocyte and plasma protein. So when we do the comparison, you read one sentence. So that sentence should have blood and tissue fluid, and then what is the aspect that the compare? Okay. So you can also write the answer in table. This one can apply in essay also. So, but you need to bear in mind that the sentences you write should be meaningful and complete. So blood has erythrocyte, tissue fluid. No. What's the meaning? No. No what? No what? I don't know what you want to explain. Okay, no what? Okay, so no mark. Okay, then blood has erythrocyte, tissue fluid has white blood cell. So you are not comparing. So we expected the same row will compare the same aspect. So blood, you talk about erythrocyte. Tissue fluid, you talk about white blood cell. And then blood you say has plasma protein. Tissue fluid has carbon dioxide. It is totally different aspect. So no mark. Okay, then blood have erythrocyte. Okay, but we expect the same row will show the same comparison. So blood contain erythrocyte. Tissue fluid does not contain erythrocyte. This is referred to this row, right? And then the blood contain plasma protein. So tissue fluid does not contain plasma protein. So you are not compare the same aspect at the same row. So normal. Okay, then the last one, blood contain erythrocyte, tissue fluid does not contain erythrocyte, correct. Blood contain plasma protein, tissue fluid does not contain plasma protein, also correct. So only this comparison you can get 2 marks. Okay. So based on the diagram or information given. So when you come over to the question like this, you must answer by referring to the diagram or information given. So like this. So diagram 5.1 shows 2 types of variation in human. So 2 characteristics of 5 male individuals of the same age PQRST are shown by using the information given. State the meaning of variation. So use this information to explain what is variation. Okay. So I give you 2 answers. Variation is the difference among individuals. So this is maybe what you know roughly about variation. But you are not actually referred to the diagram. So what is variation? Variation is the difference in height or shape of earlobe. So this is in the diagram. So difference in what? Normal. Okay, so for individual PQRST. So yeah, this is the difference among individuals. So you can get 1 mark here. Okay, then among the same species. So among human. Okay, so if you just give the definition, maybe based on theory, you cannot get full marks. But when the question asking um, define or answer based on the diagram or based on the information given, then you should always refer to the diagram of information given. Okay, so the correct answer is variation is the difference in height or shape of earlobe among individual or among PQRST. Okay, and then among the same species of human. Okay, so when you ask to draw, okay, draw, the drawing should be big to fill the space provided. Okay, so as I said, the space provided is just nice for you to answer the question. Okay, clear, label it, and then don't use arrow unless you want to show the direction. Okay, so these are the questions that can be asked you to draw. You can be asked to draw any of the steps in the phagocytosis. Okay, you can ask to draw any of the phases in mitosis or meiosis. Okay, to draw the phases in mitosis and meiosis, you need to look at what is the original diagram. Okay, so what is the look at the size of the chromosome or the color of the chromosome, and then you just follow. Okay, and then it may ask you to draw the structure of villus, and then you label it. Okay, we have finished section A. Now we look at section B. Okay, section B is item response to heart. So there are 2 questions in section B, which is question 9 and question 10. You choose any 1 question to answer. And the mark allocation is 20 marks. So each question is allocated with 20 marks. You only need to answer 1 question. Okay, so these are some tips to answer the question in section B. Okay, read the question thoroughly, membaca soalan secara menyeluruh, and then analyze the mark allocation in each sub-question. Compare the 2 questions. Choose the question that you have the most confidence to answer. Pilih soalan yang anda lebih yakin untuk jawab. Outline your answer. Buat rangka jawapan to arrange the answer more systematically to prevent missing out of important point. Then you write the essay. After you do the outline, you write the essay using complete sentence and beware of time constraint. Okay. Perhatikan kepada hak masa. So I would suggest you to use 5 minutes to plan to draw the outline, and then 25 minutes to write out. Okay, then there are some principles of answering. So answer according to the task given in the question. 1 mark is given to 1 point. Do not need to write introduction and closure, and the answer should be short and easy to understand. So make your sentence short and easy to understand. Okay, then. Okay, so there are question a lot of question with which require you to compare. Okay, so when question compare means you do a lot of analysis. You need to analyze the question. So you must include similarity and differences. Okay, you can use table to answer as just like I told you just now. So difference for the same aspect should be put in the same row. Okay, and then for the form of sentence, if you answer in the form of sentence, you use a word such as whereas, well, but, and etc. Okay, compare blood vessel P and Q. So you are given 2 blood vessels and then you need to compare it. So when it comes to compare, you need to write down similarity and differences. So what is the similarity? Go and find out the similarity, at least one similarity. Okay, so both transport blood, both structure of walls are 3 layers. The walls are made out of smooth muscle. These are the similarity. You should have at least one. So if you don't know about the structure, at least you know both transport blood. Okay, so these are the similarity. What type of blood doesn't mind? That is the difference. So, but both transport blood. Okay, though, then you write down the differences. Okay, you write in sentence and then you put the word like but, whereas, well to join the two part of the answer. So the first part is about the blood vessel P, and then second part is about blood vessel Q. So P is artery, Q is vein. You get 1 mark. Okay, P transport blood away from heart. Okay, Q transport blood into heart. Okay, so these are the example of answer for differences. Okay, so there are student answer like this. So instead of having one sentence with 2 parts, the student put the answer in 2 paragraphs. With 1 paragraph, explain totally on P, then another paragraph explain totally on Q. So actually, when you look at this answer, the student is not doing the comparison. Okay, can you see that? The student is not doing the comparison. So it only explains what is P and what is Q. So in this case, it can be only 1 mark. Where is 1 mark? So the 1 mark is P is artery, Q is vein. That's it. Okay, but you can look at this answer. Actually, the student know everything, but the student just not answer the question. Okay, so make sure you read and understand the question and figure out what the question wants you to write. So if the question say compare, you should have the format of comparison. If the question only say explain or describe, then you should answer accordingly. Okay. So some question will ask you to describe the similarity. Straight away, they told you they want the similarity and differences. So you write the similarity and differences. Okay, like this. You have similarity, you have all the differences, then you can get 10 marks. Okay, then when question asks you to explain. Okay, explain by using principle, concept, or scientific facts. No mark for general explanation without scientific terms. I'll give you an example later on. So, diagram below shows a plant in condition M. So based on the diagram, explain what happened to the plant. What happened to the plant in condition M? Okay, so we look at the student's answer, the sample answer. Water move out from plant by osmosis. The plant cells shrink. The plant is flaccid. The plant die. So these are the answer in the sample answer. So now we look at the answer. What do you think the answer is? The answer good enough to score 4 marks? Adakah jawapan ini cukup baik? Okay, look at one by one. Water move out from plant by osmosis. So water move out. Okay, so actually the most correct word can be used is diffuse. Okay, diffuses. Okay, so if we accept move here, but we look at water move out from the plant. Actually, water is not moved out from the plant, but moved out from the plant cell. Okay, so this plant cell is actually the root hair cell. So water diffuses out from the root hair cell by osmosis. So the plant cell string, the string is not used to the plant cell, but the string is used for vacuole. So the vacuole string, not the plant cell string. Okay, and then the plant is flaccid. No, the plant is not flaccid. The plant cell is flaccid. Flaccid and turgid can only be used in plant cell. Okay, then the plant died. The plant not die yet, but the plant will. Okay, if you put water, then the plant will regain the normal condition. Okay, jadi jawapan ini will get 0 mark. Okay, that's why I say istilah yang digunakan itu tidak betul. Okay, it will cause the explanation become not correct. Okay, so beware of this, okay? Don't make this mistake. Okay, so this is the correct answer. Okay, so and then another question. A student carry out experiment to investigate percentage of red blood cell undergo hemolysis when immersed in different condition or different concentration of sodium chloride solution. Okay, then by referring to the graph, explain what happened to the red blood cell at R and S. So it is very important that you should explain what happened at R and S. And then the point R and S should be mentioned in the question. Okay, so when you do the outline, you need to study the x-axis, s-axis, and y-axis. Okay, to identify the percentage of red blood cell undergo hemolysis with the concentration of sodium chloride solution. And then what caused the cell in that condition? And then what is the effect? So let you look at the sample answer. So this is the one of the student write like this, for example. So in hypotonic solution, water diffuse out from the red blood cell by osmosis. Okay, red blood cell expand and eventually burst. Hemolysis occur. So in isotonic solution, water diffuse out into and out of the cell set of red blood cell at the same rate. Red blood cell remain unchanged. Okay, now the first question I want to ask, when you read the answer like this, do you know which condition refer to R, which condition refer to S? The answer doesn't mention R and S at all. So it can be 0 mark because the student is not answering the question. So actually in hypotonic solution that is in R. So if the question write out in R, water diffuse into the red blood cell by osmosis, then of course that is correct. But the student write down hypotonic solution, and then it doesn't say that, or at least the student say that condition R is red blood cell in the hypotonic solution, or the concentration of the sodium chloride solution is hypotonic to the red blood cell. Okay, so then you know it refers to the hypotonic solution. Okay, but the student doesn't mention anything about R and S, so it can be no mark. Okay, then the red blood cell expand and eventually burst. Okay, so this one also doesn't know whether it happened in R or S. And hemolysis occur is already in the graph, so no mark. And then in isotonic solution, so you don't know whether it is R or S again. So water diffuse out into and out of the R. This is the mistake that I want you to see. So in the cell sap is only occur in the plant cell. Okay, understand? Cell sap is the content of vacuole, and the animal cell do not have deep vacuole. So there is no cell sap. Don't say that cell sap of red blood cell. Remember this. Okay, cell sap of plant cell, yes, but not cell sap of red blood cell. So you put down cell sap is totally is wrong for the red blood cell. Okay, and the red blood cell remain unchanged. So this answer can be 0 mark because the student not answering the question. Okay, so study the question properly. So sometimes you have the point, but because you are not actually answer the question, so it can be 0 mark or it can be very low mark. Okay, so this is the correct answer. You should explain properly what happened at R. Okay, and then what happened at S. Okay, then the diagram below shows the two individuals, okay, Y and Z, okay, who drank different volume of water and produce different volume of urine, Y and Z. Okay, so explain the role of pituitary gland to regulate the water content in individual Y and Z. Okay, so you should when you read the question like this, okay, you can break your question into two parts. So the first part, you need to explain individual Y, you need to explain individual Z. The question doesn't ask you to compare, right? The question only asks you to explain the role of pituitary gland to regulate the water content in individual Y, individual Z. Okay, understand? So don't do comparison, you explain. Okay, don't make everything into comparison. If the question asks you to compare, asks you to write the similarity and differences, then you do it. If the question asks you to explain, so you answer accordingly. So it is individual Y and Z, not X, individual Y and Z. So individual Y drink more water, produce more urine, and then the osmotic pressure decrease. Then you explain the corrective mechanism that carried out by the pituitary gland. Okay, and then individual Z drink less water, less urine, produce less urine, so osmotic pressure increases, and you explain the corrective mechanism carried out by the pituitary gland. It's about the secretion of ADH, and then the reabsorption of water. Okay, so when you break down your question into two parts, and then you have an outline like this, you won't miss any point. Okay, understand? Mm? So this is another example, ask you to explain the transport system of plant. Describe the mechanism of water transport. So in this case, you should have three main mechanisms that you need to explain, which is root pressure, capillary action, and transpirational flow. So go and find out the keywords for each of the mechanism. So like capillary action, you can write down cohesion, adhesion. So when you explain the capillary action, so you know what to be written in the capillary action. Okay, and then the sickle cell anemia is a hereditary disease caused by the defective allele, which is involved in the synthesis of hemoglobin. Okay, two carriers of sickle cell anemia married. Draw a schematic diagram to show the probability of having a child with sickle cell anemia. Okay, so if the question asks you to draw a schematic diagram or genetic diagram, so the first thing you need to look at is whether the key is given. If the key is not given, you should have the key. So normally you have the key. So this is about sickle cell anemia, so we use the alphabet S. So S, capital letter S refer to the dominant allele for normal, and a small letter S refer to the recessive allele for sickle cell anemia. So the key will give you 1 mark. Okay, then you look at the phenotype is given. So two carrier of sickle cell anemia, so there is no mark. And then, so from the carrier, you know that the genotype is one dominant allele and then one recessive allele, which is homozygote. So the genotype, okay, and the correct genotype given, you can get 1 mark. Okay, and then the meiosis. So meiosis will refer to this arrow also. Meiosis with arrow, you can get 1 mark. Okay, then the gamete. The correct gamete return, okay, during the separate or segregated during formation of gamete, then you can get 1 mark. Okay, then fertilization, it will refer to the line. Okay, so 1 mark. So offspring genotype. So the correct offspring genotype, you get 1 mark. Okay, offspring phenotype, 1 mark. Okay, then you answer the question. So what is the probability of having a child with sickle cell anemia? So that is 25%. So with a complete genetic diagram, you can get at least 6 marks. Now you can get maximum 6 marks. You can get maximum 6 marks. Okay, so remember this is a complete format of the genetic diagram. Okay, now, okay, we finished section B. Now we look at section C. Section C is item response terbuka. So you read the question carefully. Be sure that you answer the question given. So you read the question, you understand the question, then you answer the question. Okay, use higher thinking order skill or problem solving skill to answer the question in section C. So it will involve the skills of underlying, okay, applying, analyzing, evaluating, or creating or inventing. Okay, so then you analyze the mark allocation in each sub question. So more points for sub question with higher mark allocation. So means you need to write more. So what are the tips that can be used in answering the section C? So outline your answer again. So you read the question, you understand the question, and then you draw the outline for your answer to avoid confusion or disorganization. Okay, sometimes you write without outline, when you write, it will make you confused. Okay, then the whole thing is wrong. Okay, write an essay, you answer the question thoroughly using the complete thought and sentence. Okay, then beware of the time constraint. Okay, so 5 minutes outline, 25 minutes with write out. Okay. So I have a group the question of section C. So these are the example only. It is not necessary that the section C will based on this group of question. So I group the question based on a few theme. Okay, like balanced diet. Okay, in balanced diet, you need to bear in mind that we are not look at the food pyramid anymore, but we look at the healthier diet like Malaysian healthy plate. Okay, with the slogan quarter half. Okay, pinggan sehat Malaysia dengan slogan yang suku-suku separuh. Okay, so this is an example. So suggest and explain. Okay, you are given a table that with the content of 2 burger, chicken burger and vegetable burger. So suggest the best burger for the diet of a 16 years old. So suggest the best burger. You just give the suggestion and then explain. Okay. So the explanation is here. A is suggest, so it gives you suggestion. So B, the student consume the burger every day for a long period of time. Explain the good and bad effect of the diet on his health. So you need to analyze which burger is the best. Okay, then if the student eat that burger, the burger refer to the best burger that you suggest in A. So what is the good and bad effect? Okay, if the student consume the burger every day for a long period of time. So you should have good and bad effect. Okay, means the first thing you need to choose the burger and then you find out the good and bad effect of that particular burger. Okay, so we look at this. So you compare the protein in the chicken burger and vegetable burger. So chicken have more or sufficient protein. Okay, vegetable have less or it also sufficient protein. Okay, so carbohydrate have more or sufficient. Okay, fat. Fat is too much, so more fat. Okay, so vegetable burger have less fat. Okay, sodium, have more sodium. This is less sodium. Okay, and then the fiber. This is less fiber. This is more fiber. Okay, so you can compare like this. Okay, and then based on the table, so you find out which one you want to write, which one you have more point about the good and bad effect. Then you choose one to write. Okay, it is not necessary, not definite that the answer must be chicken burger or vegetable burger. Okay, so based on your argument, how do you think? Okay, so if you write chicken burger, you need to explain why. Because chicken burger have sufficient or more protein. Then you explain about the function of protein and then the effect of too much protein. Okay, carbohydrate is more or sufficient. So what is the function of carbohydrate and then what happens if you have too much carbohydrate? Okay, fat or cholesterol. If you want, you can also put the function of fat or cholesterol and then the effect of too much fat or cholesterol. And sodium. Okay, if you have too much sodium, then it will lead to hypertension. Okay, this is high blood pressure. Okay, less fiber. It will lead to peristalsis, less stimulating in peristalsis, cause constipation, and etc. Okay, or you can choose vegetable burger. Okay, you can choose vegetable burger. So depends on how what is your argument. Okay, so both answers are acceptable. Both answers are acceptable. Okay. So then, if you ask to justify, you need to give opinion whether you agree or not. For example, a pregnant woman takes rice, potato chips, chicken curry, fried egg, butter, milk, carbonated drink, sausage, and sardine for her dinner. So justify whether the menu provides a balanced diet for the pregnant woman and use related biology concept to support your answer. So the first thing you need to analyze whether all these contain the 7 classes of food. So what is balanced diet? Balanced diet means the diet that contain all the 7 classes of food in correct proportion. Okay, that suitable for the requirement of an individual. So you check whether all this the menu contain all the 7 classes of food. Okay, so your answer can be yes or no. If your answer is yes, you explain about the content, explain about the function. Okay, if your answer is no, then you talk about the content, you talk about the effect of excessive intake and deficiency. For example, if you say yes, it is a balanced diet because it contains all the 7 classes of food. Okay, then now you look at the one by one. Okay, rice. Okay, rice contain what? Okay, so you can group what are the food that contain carbohydrate. Okay, rice and potato chips contain carbohydrate. Carbohydrate provide energy for daily activity. Okay, then chicken curry, fried egg, milk contain protein. Protein build new cell for growth. Okay, in feeders. Okay, so that is when you say it is yes, it is a balanced diet. When you say no, okay, no, it is not a balanced diet because okay, it does not contain the 7 classes of food in a correct proportion, for example. Okay, so okay, you can say then you talk about the effect of excessive intake. Okay, too much carbohydrate. Okay, rice, potato. Again, you still need to write down rice, potato chips contain carbohydrate. Too much carbohydrate cause obesity. Okay, can you get it? So, yes or no, you need to write first. Justify means you need to state whether your opinion is yes or no, and then you give your justification why you say that. Okay, so actually question about balanced diet, the scope is almost the same. So normally we discuss about the food class, the food source, the function, the effect of excessive intake, and the effect of deficiency. Okay, then the second group of the question is about the issue related to the health problem. Okay, so this is an example. So eggs and dengue are disease which can be spread easily. Explain how this disease affect the human health. Okay, so in that case, you should explain the cause. So you break this question into two. So one is AIDS, one is dengue. Okay, then you answer. Don't put together because dengue and AIDS is totally two different diseases. So for example, cause. AIDS is caused by HIV, human immunodeficiency virus. Okay, dengue is caused by dengue virus. Okay, so that is the cause. So you can get 2 marks. Okay, you are not doing the comparison again. So you can explain the eggs in one paragraph and explain dengue in another paragraph. Okay, both you talk about the cause, the transmission, the effect to the human body, and the symptom. Okay, then explain the long-term effect of consuming excess of this food on the individual health. So you are given butter, bread, and fried chicken. So when you answer the question, I want you to try to diversify your answer. So like butter. Okay, butter, what is the food class? Butter contain lipid or fats. Okay, then the bread contain carbohydrate. Okay, fried chicken. Okay, if you want to refer fried chicken to lipid, okay, then you will repeating the answer for butter. Okay, so you try to diversify your answer. So we have this lipid or fats. We have carbohydrate. So what is another food class that can be found that you can explain by using the fried chicken? So should be protein. So you need to explain the excessive intake of fats, carbohydrate, and protein. Okay. So the first thing you need to state is the food. Okay. For example, okay, bread contain carbohydrate. Okay, excessive intake of carbohydrate cause obesity. Okay, then you explain. Okay, why the excessive intake of carbohydrate cause obesity? Okay, it will cause the increase in the blood sugar level, and then excess glucose will be stored in the form of adipose tissue. So it will increase the body weight. So that is the explanation. Understand? Okay. So then another question is about the stimulant and depressant. So explain the effect of stimulant and depressant to a person's health. So 6 marks. So the first thing you should know is what is stimulant and the depressant. So what is the example? Can you remember any example of stimulant and depressant? And then what is the effect? The effect should be the effects on the transmission of impulse, the effects on the physiological. Okay, transmission of this like stimulant, it will increase the transmission of impulse, and then depressant will decrease the transmission of impulse. That's it. Okay, then the stimulant will make a person more active. Okay, increase the heartbeat. Okay, increase the metabolic rate, and then depressant will slow down. So you explain the effect. Okay, so you break down this question into stimulant and depressant. So you can explain one paragraph about the stimulant and then another paragraph about the depressant. Okay, based on this guideline. Okay, so another big topic is about plant. So design, this is inventing. Okay, design a greenhouse that provide ideal condition for temperate country. Temperate country is a country with 4 seasons. Okay, by taking consideration of all the factor affecting the photosynthesis. So you need to figure out the factor that affect the photosynthesis and how are you going to manipulate this factor so that it will increase the rate of photosynthesis in the greenhouse. Okay, so this is invention. Okay, and then a phytoremediation. So explain how the phytoremediation can be used to improve the water quality in the aquaponic system. So the first thing you need to know is what are the pollutants in the water, in the aquarium. Okay, and then what is the example, what are the example of plant can be used in the phytoremediation? What is the function of phytoremediation? And then how the phytoremediation occur in the root by absorbing, accumulating, and breaking down the pollutants. And the phytoremediation can also occur in the leaves, okay, which release the pollutant as volatile form through the transpiration. Okay. So another big issue is about the environmental sustainability. Okay, so like discuss. So you give opinion about on the pros and cons. Discuss the effect caused by the industrial activity on human and environment in years to come. So we cannot run away from development, but development will have pros and cons. So we discuss about the pros and cons, and then in this question is talk about the effects on human and environment. When effect, it can be good and bad effect. So for human, they are good and bad effect. For environment, they are only bad effect. So you explain it. So like this, okay, you see this question is about the industrial activity. So want to know about the effect of industrial activity on two parts. One is human, one is environment. So if this is effect, it can be good or bad effect. For of course human, we have some good effect. Okay, like it create more job opportunity, it will increase the facilities or the infrastructure. So these are the good effects. Okay, and then also there are bad effects, especially in the social bad effect, like it will increase the criminal cases and etc. Okay, and then the environment. The environment you discuss the bad effect. Okay. So suggest how 3R program, reduce, reuse, recycle of resources can be practiced to create a green environment in your school. So what is 3R? What is reduce, reuse, and recycle? So what are the example of practices can be used in reduce, reuse, recycle respectively? Okay, and then how to do it? Okay, and then what is the impact? Okay, of course, from the question, you know that it is to create a green environment. Okay, so we don't want to repeat the question. So we can say that it will produce a eco-friendly environment. Instead of green environment, we use eco-friendly environment. Then we are not copy the question, right? Okay, that is the impact. Okay, then, so the last one is about the genetic technology, genetic engineering. So describe the advantages and disadvantages of genetically modified food, which is GMF. So think about the advantages and disadvantages of genetic modified food. Okay, so like the advantages can be the plant or the crops can be more resistant to disease, to pests, and then to the environmental change. It will have a higher growth rate. It will have more crop yields, longer lifespan, reduce the cost of production, and then it will have an added value like it can increase the nutrient content in the food. Okay, of course there are some disadvantages, like it causes the transfer of gene to other crops, which will create the super wheat. Okay, and then you have a halal issue or the religious issue, vegetarian issue, and then no variation, and it will destroy by new disease or pests because this is not produced by the natural selection. Okay. So then we finish all the section A, B, and C. Just do some reminder on some do's and don'ts. Okay, do not repeat the question to get marked. Do not give answer that are similar. Okay, because it will be considered as one answer. For example, suggest way to prevent cardiovascular disease. So if you put down answer like, oh, about the diet, it considered as one. Okay, consider as repeating the same point. But if you one you put down the reduce the intake of lipid, so another one you say quit smoking, then the third one you say regular exercise, then you can get 3 answers. Okay, so the answer is different. Okay, and then okay, do not give negative answer. So example, so this is the question asked in the exam. For example, explain the effect of deforestation. Okay, kesan penyahutanan. Okay, so look at this answer. Forest is habitat for animal and plant. Is this sentence answer the question? No. So the question is asking about the effect. Kesan penyahutanan. Okay, forest ialah habitat haiwan dan tumbuhan. No, this statement is actually state the important. So it is important to prevent the extinction of species. No. So deforestation increase the concentration of carbon dioxide in atmosphere. Yes. Greenhouse effect occur. Yes. The food web is disturbed. Yes. The earth temperature is affected. No. So be very careful using the word affected. Okay, in BM also. Okay, so jangan guna perkataan seperti terpengaruh, terjejas. Okay, like we want you to state the effect clearly. Apakah yang akan berlaku kepada suhu bumi? Suhu bumi meningkat. Itu yang jawapan yang kita mau. Bukan suhu bumi terpengaruh. Terpengaruh mean it can be high or low. Okay, but kalau greenhouse effect berlaku, bermakna suhu bumi meningkat. Okay, but if you write down the earth temperature is affected, sorry, no mark. So we should enforce, this is no mark. Okay, so only 3 mark given. You write so many, but a lot of answer is not relevant. Okay, then example, this another example. So what is the effect of removal of pancreas to the blood glucose level of patient? So you can see this is a 0 mark question because the answer, 0 mark answer. All the answer are explaining the importance, the function of pancreas. Pancreas secrete insulin. Okay, insulin convert excess glucose into glycogen. Okay, then the blood glucose level decrease and return to normal. This is for a normal patient, but this patient have no pancreas. So what is the effect? There'll be no insulin secreted. Excess glucose cannot convert into glycogen, and then the blood glucose level cannot decrease and return to normal. Okay, and then use the term correctly, like genetic factor, not gene factor. Okay, heart attack, not heart disease. Heart attack we refer to the serangan jantung. Okay, not sakit jantung. Heart attack is serangan jantung. What we want is serangan jantung. And then meiosis, always discover the student, they write the meiosis with wrong spelling. And then the pancreas, no E at the back. Okay, and then use the correct terms like water diffuse, blood transport, oxygen. The most correct term is transport. Okay, and then carbohydrate provide energy. Mitochondria produce energy. Okay, and then excrete waste product. Okay, plant cell is turgid. Untuk turgid and flaccid, we only use for plant cell. And the extinction of some species. Don't say extinction of all fauna and fauna or extinction of organism. If extinction of all fauna and organism, then there will be nothing on the earth. Okay, understand? Bukan semua pupus. So only kepupusan sesetengah species. Okay? So don't write your answer in point form. Example, this is an example. Don't write your answer in point form. Always write your answer in complete sentence with meaningful. Okay? So don't, if you write the answer in point form, it might happen that you will not get given, you are not getting the mark because the answer is too short and not and make it not meaningful. Okay? So with this, I end my sharing on paper 2. So bear in mind that nothing is impossible. So the word itself say that I am possible. So I hope with today's webinar, so all the students will be equipped with the techniques to answer the paper 1 and paper 2. So I wish all of you a very good luck to score good result in your SPM examination, especially in biology. So thank you.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada Cikgu Bibiana Tosiusiu atas perkongsian yang sangat bermanfaat itu tadi. Hadirin sekalian, kini kita akan ke agenda yang seterusnya, iaitu sesi soal jawab untuk kertas 1 dan kertas 2 dahulu. Para peserta bengkel boleh menulis soalan pada ruangan live chat dan saya akan membacakan soalan-soalan yang telah diberikan di ruangan chat. Okey, jom kita tengok dah ada banyak soalan dekat sini. Okey, soalan yang pertama daripada Jackie Ungkah. Okay, can I put the answer in section B and C with point but in full sentence?
Okay, can
Cikgu
you
Bibiana.
hear me?
Yes.
Boleh dengar? Yeah, okay.
Boleh.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Yes, you can put the answer in point form, but please bear in mind that the sentence should be in full sentence. Ada yang budak yang bila mereka buat point form, mereka akan buat nota saja. Jadi bila anda buat point form, anda mesti pastikan jawapan itu dalam ayat yang penuh. Saya rasa kalau mau buat dot itu tak buat pun tak apa. Anda jawab dalam paragraf pun boleh. Okay. Jadi just is a tendency that the student will make the point form with incomplete answer. If you can make the point form but incomplete answer is okay. Okay, but I still encourage you to answer in paragraph. Yes, okay. Next question.
Okay, thank you Cikgu Bibiana. Okay, next question from Julita Yek Suh Ching. Can we write the genotype ratio 1 to 1 instead of write 1 SS, 2 S, 1 SS? Can we write the probability in decimal place or fractional form? Thank you for answering the question.
Okay, so when you write the genotype ratio, so unless you did show the phenotype, otherwise 1 to 1, no meaning. I don't know one refer to what. Okay, but if you have a previously you have the you can put S the dominant S dot small letter s small letter s capital letter S small letter s and two small letter s is equal to 1 to 1, then it's okay. Understand? Otherwise 1 to 1 no meaning. So when you answer the question, you try to trick the one who mark your answer who know nothing about it. So how you are going to write? So the one who read your answer know what you want to, what is the meaning. Apa yang anda hendak sampaikan. Biarlah buat dengan lengkap. Okay, so about the genotypic ratio, only the number is accepted. Okay, so hanya terima nombor saja untuk nisbah genotype. Okay, faham? But probability you can write in decimal, you can write in fraction, you can write in percentage. Is it clear, Julita? Yeah, next.
Okay, so harap dapat membantulah Julita untuk jawab soalan. Okay, next the question is from I like to sleep. Yeah. Okay. Will marks be awarded if additional information written outside of the scope of the textbook but is relevant to the requirement of the question?
Okay, so when you look at section C is item respond terbuka. So in section C means you can write extra information. So when marking, the teacher need to search for it. Sometimes the student is they have more information than the teacher. So bila ada extra information, cikgu boleh menentukan sama ada maklumat yang diberi itu betul ke tidak. Search internet, Google it. So if the information is really relevant, then dia boleh diterima. Walaupun dia di bawah scope textbook. You need to bear in mind that textbook is for reference. So you will be tested on the DSKT. So that is what you need to know. Okay, so textbook is a reference. So if you read more, so that's why the student who gets A plus, maybe they read a lot, they have a lot of information. So when they answer the question in section C, they have a lot of relevant answer, then can be given mark. So they can score well in the section C. Okay? Yeah.
Okay, Cikgu, we will move to the next question from
Okay.
Adila Atira.
Mm.
Cikgu, if the question asks our opinion, can we agree and disagree at the same time, or we should just only choose to totally agree or disagree?
Okay. So when the question asks about your opinion, given a statement and then give your opinion. So normally the marking, they will be at the two part. Okay, like you can agree or you can disagree. So depends on the teacher on how they mark. Okay, some teacher they might mark the first one. So if you the first paragraph that you talk about agree, then we mark the first paragraph. And then but the second paragraph maybe mark, maybe not mark, but normally it's mark lah. So another one is mark both the agree and disagree and then choose the higher answer. But what I think is if you answer too many, like chicken burger and vegetable burger just now. Soalan hanya perlu jawab dalam satu saja, iaitu either chicken burger or vegetable burger. Kalau kamu jawab dua-dua, okay, dua-dua disemak, kita akan pilih yang paling banyak markah. Tapi dia membazirkan masa. Anda, you actually waste the time to write both. Okay, understand? And then make sure that you try to answer the question first. So if you have extra idea, then if you have extra time, then you answer. If not, then you choose one. You really think about it and then write the one that you think you have more point. Okay, understand?
Okay, thank you, Cikgu. Okay, next question from Darren Ling. Okay, about the probability, we need to write the answer in fraction, decimals, or percentage.
Oh, this question I answered just now. So again, if the question asking about genotypic ratio, so you can only use number. If the question asking about probability, so you can put in fraction, decimal, or percentage. All are acceptable. Okay?
Okay. Okay, next question from Jasmine T. If there are 2 points written in one sentence, will we be given 2 marks or just 1 mark?
Okay, of course, if you have 2 points, then it will be 2 marks. So it doesn't mean that one sentence can only be given 1 mark. Okay, so it can be maybe one sentence, it can be given 1 mark, 2 marks, or 3 marks. Depends on how many points that you have. Okay, so but in the comparison, as I tell you just now, when you write the differences, you try to make only one aspect, compare only one aspect in one sentence. Okay, for the rest, if you do the explanation, for example, we talk about the movement of water. Okay, so we say that zero or distilled water is hypertonic to the cell set of plant cell. So if you put a comma, for example, instead of full stop, you put a comma. Water diffuse into the plant cell by osmosis. You might get 3 marks in this sentence. The first mark will be given is the distilled water is hypotonic to the plant cell, 1 mark. Okay, then the second mark is water diffused into the plant cell by osmosis, 2 marks. Okay, by osmosis will get another mark. So you can get 3 marks from this sentence. Understand?
Okay. So harap Jasmine boleh faham ya. Okey, saya cari lagi. Kita ada lagi soalan. Okay, daripada ABM. Since the short form of answers can be given, such as FSH, as long used in textbook, is this okay for essay questions too?
Yes, of course. Yes. But if you want to make it safe, you can put down follicle stimulating hormone. Then you bracket FSH. And then for the rest, you write FSH.
Okay. Okay, so saya akan pilih soalan yang terakhir ya, supaya kita dah akan masuk ke sesi yang seterusnya nanti. Okay, soalan yang terakhir daripada Alice Chong. Okay, hi teacher. Bahagian C itu perlu jawab dalam bentuk perenggan macam karangan ke? For one question that contain two small questions. Dan bahagian C and B boleh buat jadual, right?
Okay, bahagian C perlu jawab dalam bentuk
karangan ke?
Okay, so what my advice is, kalau soalan tanya tentang compare, perbandingan, ataupun tentang especially tentang pembezaan, differentiation. Okay, you need to differentiate. Okay, when you write the difference, then you put in table. Yang lain jangan buat table. Katakanlah kamu buat table, cikgu tak faham apa table itu. What you want to mean. Okay, bila pelajar buat table, katakanlah mereka akan buat table dengan menulis perkataan yang tidak cukup panjang untuk menyampaikan makna yang sebenar. Okay, jadi my advice is, kalau bukan dalam bentuk comparison, jangan buat table, you just answer in paragraph. Okay, paragraph. Okay, understand? So I read one question that I think is quite important. Okay, so I just okay, ada soalan yang tanya, kalau soalan dalam graf itu ada X, label X. Okay, tapi soalan tanya dengan fungsinya. Contohnya dia bagi mitokondria. And then dia tanya, apakah fungsi struktur S ini? Jadi pelajar tanya, adakah kalau dia tulis S ialah mitokondria itu akan diberi markah? No, tidak ada markah. Untuk soalan struktur, no mark. Untuk soalan struktur, no mark. Because you are not answering the question. Soalan struktur mungkin hanya satu markah saja. Kalau kamu jawab S ialah mitokondria, diberi markah, bermakna anda sebenarnya tidak jawab soalan tapi anda dapat markah penuh. Okey, faham? Kalau dalam struktur, nama label itu tidak akan diberi markah. Tapi anda boleh tulis kalau soalan itu ialah di essay. Tuliskan sahaja. Mungkin dia akan diberi markah. Faham? Okey? Ya.
Okey, terima kasih diucapkan kepada Cikgu BIBIANA atas perkongsian dan sesi soal jawab itu tadi. Okay, para hadirin sekalian, bagi guru-guru dan pegawai yang mengikuti kita pada hari ini, berikut merupakan pautan kehadiran atau anda boleh imbas QR code yang sedang dipaparkan di skrin. Pautan yang saya kongsikan di skrin sekarang merupakan pautan kehadiran untuk guru dan juga pegawai-pegawai yang hadir. Jadi semua guru dan pegawai boleh menggunakan ID D5 untuk mengakses pautan ini. Untuk murid, pautan kehadiran dan tinjauan keberkesanan akan dipaparkan di skrin pada sesi yang terakhir. Pautan untuk guru saya akan ulang siar juga pada sesi yang terakhir. Para hadirin sekalian, nampaknya semua warga maya masih lagi bersemangat dan diharapnya masih lagi kekal bersama dengan kita untuk slot yang seterusnya, iaitu pembugaran biologi bagi kertas 3 SPM. Izinkan saya memperkenalkan dahulu siapa apakah gerangan penceramah kita yang seterusnya? Penceramah Biologi Kertas 3 pada hari ini ialah Cikgu Rosianie Anak Misor yang berkelulusan Ijazah Sarjana Muda Pendidikan dengan Sains Biologi. Beliau pernah berkhidmat di Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Medamit Limbang pada tahun 2004 sehingga 2011. Beliau merupakan Ketua Panitia Biologi dan sekarang sedang berkhidmat di Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Hajah Laila Taib Samarahan. Sebelum saya menjemput Cikgu Rosianie untuk meneruskan sesi perkongsian kita pada hari ini, peringatan mesra untuk semua peserta. Sila beri kerjasama kepada perkongsian daripada penceramah dahulu. Jika ada persoalan, anda boleh buat catatan dan ruangan live chat akan dibuka sebelum sesi perkongsian berakhir. Dengan ini, saya mempersilakan Cikgu Rosianie Anak Misor untuk menyampaikan perkongsian beliau mengenai teknik menjawab biologi kertas 3. Dipersilakan Cikgu Rosianie.
Selamat pagi kepada semua yang menonton webinar Kecemerlangan SPM pada pagi ini. Pada pagi ini saya akan berkongsi teknik menjawab soalan SPM Biologi kertas 3. So, objektif kita adalah supaya calon dapat mengetahui cara dan teknik yang betul untuk menjawab soalan kertas 3. So hari ini kita fokus kepada cara dan teknik lah. Okey, seterusnya kita lihat format peperiksaan SPM. So bagi kertas 3, dia adalah merupakan ujian amali sains bersepadu. Okey, dan jenis item adalah item berstruktur. Bilangan soalan, dia ada 3 soalan merangkumi 3 mata pelajaran iaitu kimia, fizik dan biologi. So calon akan menjawab mengikut subjek yang didaftar. Jumlah markah adalah 15 markah bagi setiap item. Konstruk yang diuji adalah kemahiran proses sains. Okay, dan tempoh ujian adalah 45 minit di mana sesi merancang 5 minit dan masa menjawab 40 minit. Okay, kita teruskan dengan aspek yang diuji dalam kemahiran proses sains tersebut iaitu ada 12 semuanya. Okay, iaitu memahati, mengelas, mengukur dan menggunakan nombor, membuat inference, meramal, berkomunikasi, menggunakan perhubungan ruang dan masa, mentafsir data, mendefinisi secara operasi, mengawal pembeli ubah, membuat hipotesis dan mengeksperimen. So ada 12 aspek semua dan akan diuji dalam 3 subjek tersebut nah. Okay. So seterusnya kita lihat contoh soalan inilah. So saya akan gunakan 2 soalan. Okay. So yang ini soalan 1 saya ambil daripada buku format pentaksiran biologi yang disediakan oleh lembaga peperiksaan. Okay, kita lihat senarai radas dan bahan yang disediakan. Okay, yang pertama, piring petri dengan larutan X, petri dish with solution X. Seterusnya, piring petri dengan larutan Y, petri dish with solution Y. Piring petri dengan larutan Z, petri dish with solution Z. Jam randek, pisau lipat, forceps, air suling, pembaris setengah meter, jubin putih, plastik berzip mengandungi 3 keratan bayam yang bertanda dan silinder penyukat 100 cm padu. So ini adalah 11 radas dan bahan yang disediakan. Okay, kita tengok soalan. Anda dikehendaki menjalankan eksperimen untuk mengkaji kesan kepekatan larutan yang berbeza ke atas keratan batang bayam. Batang bayam perlu dipotong secara keratan memanjang seperti dalam rajah 3.1. You have to carry out an experiment to study the effect of different concentrations of solution on spinach stem cutting. Spinach stem cutting should be cut longitudinally as in diagram 3.1. So soalan ini dia bagi gambar rajah untuk membantu calon. Okey, sebelum tu. Okay, kita lihat daripada soalan ini, kita lihat tujuan eksperimen. Di mana tujuan eksperimen adalah untuk mengkaji kesan kepekatan larutan yang berbeza ke atas keratan batang bayam. Okay, so itu adalah tujuan eksperimen. Dari sini kita boleh nampak kepekatan larutan ini adalah pemboleh ubah dimanipulasi. Okay, dan keratan batang bayam ini dia adalah pemboleh ubah bergerak balas. So nanti kita tengok. Kita lihat soalan A. Rancangkan eksperimen ini dengan menggunakan nada sambahan yang disediakan. Prosedur anda hendaklah mengandungi cara mengendalikan pemboleh ubah dan langkah berjaga-jaga. Okay, plan your experiment by using the apparatus and materials provided. Your procedure should include method to handle variables and precaution step. So A ini merangkumi markah 4 markah. Okay, so sekarang ni sebelum menjawab pastikan anda kena pasti semua pemboleh ubah. Okay, identify the variables. Okay, yang pertama pemboleh ubah dimanipulasi, manipulated variable iaitu kepekatan larutan ataupun larutan X, Y dan Z. Concentrations of solution, okay, solution X, Y dan Z. Kita lihat pemboleh ubah bergerak malas ataupun responding variable iaitu keadaan keratan batang bayam, condition of spinach stem cutting, dan yang ketiga pemboleh ubah dimalarkan, constant variable iaitu size ataupun panjang awal keratan batang bayam, initial size or initial length of spinach stem cutting. Okay, so itu adalah semua pemboleh ubah yang ada dalam soalan ini. Okey, seterusnya. Yang ini adalah gambaran eksperimen yang dijalankan. Saya lukis supaya kita sama-sama dapat gambarkan bagaimana eksperimen ini dijalankan. Okey, di mana soalan ini dia memang dah bagi 3 piring petri yang berbeza dan semua piring petri itu sudah dimasukkan dengan larutan. Okay, larutan yang berbeza lah iaitu solution X, solution Y and solution Z. Okay, lepas itu dia masukkan keratan batang bayam yang telah dipotong. Okay, kita lihat bagaimana merancang eksperimen. So, bila merancang eksperimen dia mesti merangkumi semua aspek di sini iaitu pemboleh ubah dimanipulasi, manipulated variable, pemboleh ubah bergerak balas, responding variable, pemboleh ubah dimarahkan, constant variable, langkah berjaga-jaga, precaution step. Okay, so ada 4 kriteria dekat situ. Kita tengok contoh jawapan. Nombor 1, ukur dan potong 3 keratan jalur memanjang batang bayam pada 3 cm. Pastikan jalur yang dipotong mempunyai panjang dan ketebalan yang sama. Kalau kita tengok ayat ini menunjukkan cara mengendalikan pemboleh ubah dimalarkan iaitu keratan jalur memanjang batang bayam dipotong pada 3 cm. So ini menunjukkan pemboleh ubah dimalarkan. Okay, kita tengok ayat yang kedua. Pastikan jalur yang dipotong mempunyai panjang dan ketebalan yang sama. Yang ini menunjukkan cara mengendalikan langkah berjaga-jaga. Okay, iaitu semua jalur mesti dipotong dengan panjang dan ketebalan yang sama. Okay, measure and cut longitudinally 3 strips of spinach stem cutting at 3 cm. Make sure all the length and thickness of the strips are equal. So samalah, 3 cm is constant variable and length and thickness of the strips is precaution step. Okay, kita tengok prosedur nombor 2. Masukkan setiap batang bayam yang telah dipotong ke dalam setiap piring petri yang mengandungi larutan X, larutan Y dan larutan Z. Okay, ayat ini menunjukkan cara mengendalikan pemboleh ubah dimanipulasi. Okay, so ada 3 dekat sini. Mesti sebut larutan X, larutan Y dan larutan Z. Okay. Put each of the spinach stem cutting into the petri dish which contains solution X, solution Y and solution Z. Okay. So this one is manipulated variable. Okay. So peringatan dekat sini ya. Pastikan nyatakan semua pemboleh ubah yang dimanipulasi dengan jelas. Okay. Contoh ayat yang mempunyai pemboleh ubah manipulasi yang tidak jelas. Contoh masukkan setiap batang bayam yang telah dipotong ke dalam setiap piring petri yang mengandungi kepekatan larutan yang berbeza. Okey, contohnya dia letak macam itulah. So itu tidak akan mendatangkan markah. Okey, sebab tidak jelas. So dia mesti dinyatakanlah. Okey, seterusnya kita sambung dengan prosedur nombor 3. Mulakan jam randik dan biarkan rendaman selama 20 minit. Okey, so 20 minit ini menunjukkan cara mengendalikan pembuluh ubah dimalakan. So dalam soalan ini ada dua lah. Okey, pembuluh ubah dimalakan. Start the stopwatch and leave the immersion for 20 minutes. Okay, constant variable. Yes, nombor 4. Selepas 20 minit, keluarkan keratan batang bayam. Perhatikan keadaan pada keratan batang bayam dan rekodkan di dalam jadual. Okay, so ini adalah cara mengendalikan pembuluh ubah bergerak balas. Okay, after 20 minutes, take out the spinach stem cutting, observe the condition of spinach stem cutting and record the observations in the table. So this one is responding variable. Okay. Untuk responding variable, cara mengendalikan pembuluh ubah bergerak balas, dia mesti bersama dengan perkataan record. Okay, dia mesti ada perkataan record. So perkataan record is compulsory lah. Okay, mesti ada, wajib ada. Okay. So tengok dekat sini. Jika RV melibatkan parameter, pastikan letak radas yang digunakan untuk mengukur. Okay. So maksudnya dia mesti gabungan perkataan record, lepas tu dia mesti ada RV, responding variable ataupun pembuluh ubah bergerak balas dan juga berserta dengan radas ataupun aparatus yang digunakan untuk mengukur. Okay. Contohnya macam ni, contohnya kalau keratan bayam ini kita perlu ukur. Okay. Selepas 20 minit, keluarkan keratan batang bayam. Okay. Ukur panjang keratan batang bayam menggunakan pembaris. Okay. So pembaris itu adalah aparatus yang digunakan untuk mengukur lah. Okay. Dan rekodkan di dalam jadual. So itu baru lengkap. So boleh dapat markah untuk pembuluh ubah bergerak balas. Okay. Dekat sini tidak dinyatakan radas sebab soalan ini dia hanya memerhati keadaan pada keratan batang bayam. Okay. So soalan A ini dia ada 4 markah semua. So yang penting kamu tulis keempat-empat pembuluh ubah tersebut. Bukan keempat-empat pembuluh ubah tersebut. 3 pembuluh ubah dan 1 langkah berjaga-jaga. Okey, seterusnya B1, jalankan eksperimen tersebut. Nyatakan pematian anda pada keratan batang bayam dalam larutan Z. Carry out the experiment, state your observation on the spinach stem cutting in solution Z. Okay, so ini adalah memerhati. Okay. Kalau soalan pemerhatian, okay, dia mesti ada 2 kriteria iaitu pembuluh ubah dimanipulasi, manipulated variable, and responding variable ataupun pembuluh ubah bergerak balas. Okay, so dalam soalan ini, P1 adalah larutan Z dan P2 adalah keadaan keratan batang bayam, condition of the spinach stem cutting. Okay, so kita tengok contoh jawapan. Pada larutan Z, lapisan epidermis jalur keratan batang bayam melengkung keluar. Okay, in solution Z, the epidermis layer of spinach stem strip is bent outwards. Okay, so kalau kita tengok dekat sini, so di sini tadi adalah P2 lah, ini adalah P2 iaitu responding variable. Okay, sebenarnya dalam soalan ini tak perlu mention larutan Z untuk manipulasi pun tak apalah sebab dia memang dah fokus kepada larutan Z. Okay, dekat sini saya hanya berkongsi teknik untuk menjawab soalan. Just in case kalau soalan itu adalah bersifat umum. Contohnya soalan ini nak nyatakan pematian anda pada keratan batang bayam. Okay, so maksudnya kamu nyatakan mana-mana keadaan keratan batang bayam itu sama ada dalam larutan X, Y dan Z. So mesti nyatakan pembuluh ubah dimanipulasi lah. Okay, manipulated variable. Okay. So seterusnya kita sambung dengan B2, terangkan pemerhatian anda di B1 iaitu inference. So ini adalah inference lah. Explain your observation in B1. Okay, so explain ni macam macam sebab lah. Kamu fikirkan sebab ke atas pemerhatian tersebut. Okay. So kita lihat dekat sini, pemerhatian tadi adalah the epidermis layer of spinal stem cutting strip is bent outwards. So kita tengok apa yang berlaku. P1, P untuk point lah, point 1. Larutan Z merupakan larutan hypertonic. Solution Z is a hypertonic solution. P2, molekul air meresap keluar dari vacuole secara osmosis. Water molecules diffuse out of the vacuole by osmosis. Okay. So simple answer, larutan Z merupakan larutan hypertonic, molekul air meresap keluar dari vacuole secara osmosis. Solution Z is a hypertonic solution, water diffuse out of the vacuoles by osmosis. So ini untuk inference, 2 markah. Okay, so seterusnya kita sambung kepada C1. Lukiskan pemerhatian anda dalam ruang yang disediakan. Draw your observations in the space provided. So dekat sini biasanya kalau kita lukis raja, kita lukis jelas dan kemaslah berdasarkan kepada pemerhatian dalam eksperimen. So draw based on your observation in the experiment. So contohnya jawapan dia seperti ini. Ini contohlah saya buat contoh jawapan. Okey, kita terus pergi ke C2. Kelaskan larutan X dan larutan Y kepada jenis larutannya. Classify solution X and solution Y into their types of solution. Okay, so kita kelaskan, gunakan jadual, lebih baik gunakan jadual. Okay, so nampak pengelasan tersebut dengan lebih jelas lah. So contoh jawapan dekat sini, solution X is hypotonic solution, solution Y is isotonic solution. Okay, so just buat jadual dan kelaskan. Okay, kita sambung kepada soalan D. Maklumat di bawah menunjukkan cara penggunaan baja sayur-sayuran. The information below shows method to use vegetable fertilizer. Seorang suri rumah telah mencampurkan 20 ml larutan baja bersama 500 ml air untuk membaja sayur-sayurannya. Ramalkan apakah yang akan berlaku pada sayur-sayurannya selepas 2 hari. A housewife mix 20 ml of fertilizer solution with 500 ml of water to fertilize her vegetables. Predict what will happen to the vegetable after 2 days. Okay, so kita ramalkan dan bagi penerangan. Okay, 3 markah dekat sini ya. Kalau kita lihat maklumat yang dibagi sini, suri rumah tersebut telah mencampurkan 20 ml baja. Okay, sepatutnya dia hanya perlu campurkan 5 ml baja di dalam 500 ml air. So maksudnya kepekatan baja dekat sini adalah sangat tinggi. So apa ramalan kita? Okay, sayur akan layu. Vegetable will. Okay, jika ramalan melibatkan parameter, pastikan tulis unit. So penerangan dekat sini ya, explanation. E1, ketelarutan baja menyebabkan air tanah menjadi hypertonic terhadap sel akar. Dissolved fertilizers will cause soil water to be hypertonic to the root cell. E2, molekul air meresap keluar dari subsel secara osmosis. Water diffuse out by osmosis from the root cell to the soil. E3, sel mengalami plasmolysis. Cells become plasmolysed. Okay, so sebab itu sayur itu layu lah. Okay, so contoh jawapan ramalan sayur akan layu macam tadi lah. Vegetable will wilt. Ketelarutan baja menyebabkan air tanah menjadi hypertonic terhadap sel akar. Molekul air meresap keluar dari subsel akar secara osmosis. Sel mengalami plasmolysis. Dissolved fertilizers will cause soil water to be hypertonic to the root cell. Water diffused by osmosis from the root cell to the soil. Cells become plasmolysed. Okay, so ini 3 markah. Okay. Seterusnya kita lihat dekat sini adalah rumusan bagi kemahiran proses yang diuji dalam contoh soalan dalam buku format tersebut di mana dia telah menguji aspek memerhati, mengelas, membuat inference, meramal, berkomunikasi, mengawal pembalik ubah dan mengeksperimen. Okay, so ada beberapa aspek yang tidak diuji dalam contoh soalan tadi. So saya akan berkongsi teknik menjawab aspek yang lain, okay, tapi menggunakan soalan yang lain lah. Okay, so saya menggunakan soalan daripada ujian amali biologi kertas 3 Negeri Sarawak tahun 2020. Saya percaya semua pelajar Negeri Sarawak untuk calon SPM 2021 ini telah menduduki ujian amali ini. Okay. So kita lihat senarai radar tambahan yang disediakan. Okay. Yang pertama, beg plastik dengan 0.5 gram, 1 gram, 1.5 gram dan 2 gram yeast. Okay. Plastic bag with 0.5 gram, 1 gram, 2 gram, tak lengkap. 1.5 gram and 2 gram of yeast. Okay. Itu adalah beg plastik yang diisi dengan yeast. Okay. Seterusnya, yang nombor 2, larutan glukosa 10%, 10% glucose solution. Dan yang lain tu label, tabung didih, penutup gabus, rak tabung didih, spatula, pembaris, silinder penyukat 10 ml, bika 50 ml dan jam randai. Itu adalah 11 radar tambahan yang disediakan. Okey, kita tengok contoh soalan ini. Terdapat dua jenis respirasi sel iaitu respirasi aerob dan respirasi anaerob. Respirasi aerob berlaku dalam kehadiran oksigen, respirasi anaerob berlaku tanpa kehadiran oksigen. Fermentasi ialah laluan alternatif untuk mendapatkan tenaga selain daripada respirasi sel. So, glukosa diuraikan kepada etanol, karbon dioksida dan juga tenaga. There are two types of cellular respiration which are anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration occurs in the absence of oxygen. Fermentation is an alternative pathway of obtaining energy besides cellular respiration. Fermentation is the incomplete breakdown of glucose in conditions of limited oxygen or without oxygen. So glucose will break down to ethanol, carbon dioxide and energy. Okay, berdasarkan pernyataan di atas, anda dikehendaki menjalankan satu eksperimen untuk mengkaji kesan kepekatan enzim ke atas kadar respirasi yeast. Based on the above statement, you are requested to carry out an experiment to study the effect of concentration of enzyme on the rate of yeast respiration. Raja 1 menunjukkan susunan radar tambahan bagi eksperimen ini. Diagram 1 shows the setup of apparatus and materials for this experiment. So berdasarkan soalan ini, tujuan eksperimen kita mesti cek tujuan eksperimen iaitu mengkaji kesan kepekatan enzim ke atas kadar respirasi yeast. So berdasarkan tujuan ini kita boleh nampak kepekatan enzim adalah manipulated variable, kadar respirasi yeast adalah pembalik ubah bergerak balas. Okay, sama juga dengan yang BI lah. Okay, concentration of enzyme is manipulated variable and rate of yeast respiration is responding variable. Okay. So, yang ini dia bagi prosedur untuk kamu jalankan eksperimen. Dia tak macam soalan satu tadi. Soalan satu tadi dia, contoh soalan yang lembaga peperiksaan bagi, dia suruh kamu sendiri yang rancang eksperimen. Okay, yang ini dia bagi langkah, so kamu ikut langkah tersebut. Okey, langkah yang pertama, labelkan 4 tabung didih dengan P, Q, R dan S. Tuangkan 10 ml larutan glukosa ke dalam setiap tabung didih seperti yang ditunjukkan dalam jadual 1. Okey, yang BI saya tak baca sebab kita nak jimat masa. Okey, so dia bagi jadual tabung didih P, Q, R, S dan jisim yeast. Okey. Nombor 2, tutup tabung didih dengan penutup gabus dan mulakan jam randai dengan serta-merta. Nombor 3, selepas 5 minit, ukur ketinggian buih yang terhasil di dalam sebuah tabung didih, di dalam setiap tabung didih dengan menggunakan pembaris. Okay, so dia bagi nota dekat situ, pastikan tabung didih ditutup dengan ketat. So berdasarkan eksperimen yang dijalankan, jawab soalan-soalan berikut. Based on the experiment which has been carried out, answer the following questions. Okay. So, sebelum kita menjawab, okay, kena pasti dahulu pemboleh ubah dimanipulasi dan pemboleh ubah bergerak balas. Okay. So, dalam soalan ini ada dua jenis pemboleh ubah dimanipulasi ya. Memang jelas nampaklah. Okay, satu pemboleh ubah dimanipulasi yang secara teorinya, satu lagi adalah secara operasi. Okay, pemboleh ubah dimanipulasi secara operasi. Okay. So kita lihat manipulated variable is concentration of enzyme ataupun kepekatan enzim. Operational manipulated variable is mass of yeast ataupun jisim yeast. Okay, next. Apa beza operasi dengan yang bukan operasi ni? Yang operasi ni ialah dia menunjukkan kita memanipulasikan kepekatan enzim tersebut, iaitu kita guna jisim yeast yang berbeza lah. Okay, maksudnya kita boleh nampak jisim yeast tersebut. Okay, kita nampak dia macam 1 gram, 1.5 gram, 2 gram, kita nampak lah. Okay. Seterusnya, kita lihat pemboleh ubah bergerak balas sama juga. Pemboleh ubah bergerak balas adalah kadar respirasi yeast, rate of yeast respiration. So, pemboleh ubah bergerak balas secara operasi dalam eksperimen ini, dia adalah ketinggian turus buih, height of froth column. Maksudnya dekat sini, kadar respirasi yeast tu kita tak boleh nampak kan. Okay, so kita berdasarkan eksperimen ini, kita nampak kadar respirasi yeast itu melalui ketinggian turus buih. Okay, maksudnya kita boleh nampak ketinggian turus buih itu. Okey, seterusnya kita lihat soalan A. Berdasarkan eksperimen yang telah dijalankan, nyatakan dua pemerhatian yang berbeza. Okay, based on the result of the experiment, state two different observations. Okay, so yang ini saya bagi cepat sebab sebenarnya saya dah discuss dalam soalan yang pertama tadi. So dia mesti ada, untuk pemerhatian dia mesti ada dua pemboleh ubah, manipulasi dan bergerak balas. So dalam soalan ini, pemboleh ubah dimanipulasi adalah jisim yeast, mass of yeast. Pemboleh ubah bergerak balas adalah ketinggian turus buih ataupun height of the froth column. Okay, dan mesti menggunakan pemboleh ubah yang operasi lah, operational variables. Okay, contoh jawapan. Apabila jisim yeast adalah 0.5 gram, okay, ketinggian turus buih ialah 10 ml. Okay, biasanya kita ambil bacaan yang paling tinggi dengan paling rendah, okay, untuk memudahkan kita membuat inference nantilah. Okay, when the mass of yeast is 0.5 gram, the height of the froth column is 10 mm. Oh, jisim yeast adalah mv. Mass of yeast is mv. Okay, ketinggian turus buih adalah rv. Dan dia mesti berserta dengan nilai ataupun kita panggil value plus unit lah. Mesti ada. MV ni pun sama, dia mesti ada value dan juga unit. Unit jangan lupa tulis. Kadang-kadang calon ni dia tertinggal unit. Bila tertinggal unit, contohnya macam ayat ni, gram dia tertinggal, so ayat itu menjadi tidak lengkap. So boleh mengurangkan markah lah. Okay, so sama juga dengan pemerhatian kedua, teknik yang sama. Okay, kita pergi seterusnya untuk inference. Okay, inference mesti sepadan, state to inference which correspond to observation in 1A. Okay, so kita lihat poin dia. Poin 1, tinggi atau rendah kepekatan enzim, high or low concentration of enzyme. P2, kadar respirasi yeast paling rendah ataupun paling tinggi. Rate of yeast respiration lowest or highest. P3, banyak atau sedikit karbon dioksida dibebaskan, more or less karbon dioksida release. Okay, so contoh jawapan untuk satu tadi, sebab dia adalah 0.5 gram yeast kan. Okay. So di sini kita kaitkan dengan RV yang secara teori tadi. Okay, kepekatan enzim rendah, kadar respirasi yeast paling rendah. Kurang gas karbon dioksida dibebaskan. Okay, low concentration of enzyme, rate of yeast respiration is the lowest, less carbon dioxide is released. Okay, so dekat sini sama jugalah untuk inference kedua. Okay, yang ini adalah 2.0 gram yeast tadi yang untuk pemerhatian. Okey, sama tekniknya sama dan yang penting mesti sepadan. Okey, yang C. Kita lihat nyatakan pemberi ubah dimanipulasi dan pemberi ubah dimalahkan dalam eksperimen ini. So kamu nyatakan sahajalah okey mana-mana pemberi ubah tersebut. Okey, kalau manipulasi dia boleh jisim yeast ataupun kepekatan enzim, mass of yeast or enzyme concentration. Okay, and for constant variable, kamu boleh letak glucose concentration or duration of reaction. Okay, kepekatan glukosa ataupun tempoh masa tindak balas. Okay, so itu untuk pemberi ubah. Yang ni mudahlah. Okay, yang D, nyatakan hipotesis bagi eksperimen ini. Untuk hipotesis dia mesti ada 3 kriteria. Kriteria tersebut dia adalah merangkumi pemberi ubah dimanipulasi. Okay, pemberi ubah bergerak balas, responding variable and hubungan ataupun relationship. Okay, pemberi ubah dimanipulasi untuk eksperimen ini adalah kepekatan enzim ataupun jisim yeast, enzyme concentration ataupun mass of yeast. Untuk bergerak balas, ketinggian turus buih ataupun kadar respirasi yeast, height of froth column ataupun rate of yeast respiration. So mesti ada relationship. Okay, kita tengok contoh jawapan. Semakin bertambah kepekatan enzim, semakin meningkat kadar respirasi yeast. Okay, so kita tengok ayat di sini dia adalah gabungan antara dua pemberi ubah, dimanipulasi dan bergerak balas beserta hubungan. Okay, kita tengok dekat sini kepekatan enzim adalah manipulasi, kadar respirasi yeast adalah bergerak balas. Okay, so mesti ada hubungan, semakin bertambah itu adalah hubungan. Okay, sama juga dengan yang BI lah. So enzyme concentration is manipulated variable, rate of yeast respiration is responding variable, and the higher is relationship. Okay, so itu teknik menjawab untuk hipotesis. Okay, so nombor 2 sama jugalah. Okay, teknik yang sama. So apa yang perlu kena berhati-hati dekat sini. So elakkan untuk membuat reverse hypothesis. So kalau reverse hypothesis maksudnya contohnya macam ni. The higher the rate of yeast respiration, the higher the enzyme concentration. So itu adalah contoh reverse hypothesis. So tidak akan mendatangkan markah. Okay, ataupun elakkan untuk membuat hipotesis yang kurang lengkap, okay, yang kurang tepat. Okay, inaccurate hypothesis, contohnya tidak ada hubungan, no relationship. Okay, contohnya macam ni ya, tengok ayat yang di tepi sini. Okay, kepekatan enzim mempengaruhi, dia hanya guna mempengaruhi kadar respirasi. So yang macam ni, ini adalah satu hipotesis yang tidak lengkap. Okay, sebab, apa sebabnya dekat sini? Kepekatan enzim dia ada manipulasi, ada. Kadar respirasi ada, responding variable kan, dia ada juga. Okay, tapi dia tidak ada relationship. Okay, tak ada relationship. Dia hanya kata mempengaruhi sahaja. So itu bukanlah hubungan yang tepat. Okay, so kena hati-hati ya. Okay, seterusnya kita lihat, okay, membina jadual lah, iaitu aspek berkomunikasi. I1, bina satu jadual dan rekod semua data yang dikumpul dalam eksperimen ini. Jadual anda hendaklah mengandungi tajuk-tajuk berikut. Construct a table and record all the data collected in this experiment. Your table should have the following titles. Jisim yeast, mass of yeast, ketinggian turus buih, height of froth column, kadar respirasi yeast, rate of yeast respiration. So dia bagi formula, kadar respirasi yeast sama dengan ketinggian turus buih bahagi dengan massa. Rate of yeast respirations equal to height of froth column over time. Ya, so soalan ini dia ada 2 markah. So contoh jawapan, okay, anda bina satu jadual yang lengkap seperti ini, mesti lengkap okay, apa yang dikehendaki. Okay, di mana tajuk mesti bersama unit yang betul. Okay, pastikan bersama unit. Okay, kadang-kadang ada pelajar dia yang lain dia letak unit. Okay, contohnya di jisim yeast ni tiba-tiba dia tak letak unit. Okay, so dia akan mengurangkan markah dekat sini. So bahagian titles ini dia akan salah lah. Okay, sebab tak lengkap. Ataupun kadang-kadang ada juga pelajar dia tak tulis yang tajuk ni dengan lengkap. Contohnya dekat sini adalah dalam soalan tadi dia adalah kadar respirasi yeast. Okay, tapi ada sebilangan calon kadang-kadang dia letak kadar respirasi sahaja. Tiba-tiba yeast ini tertinggal. Okay, yang itu pun menyebabkan tajuk itu tidak lengkap. Okay, so seterusnya kita tengok data. Okay, data direkodkan dengan tepat. Data recorded correctly. Okay, mesti direkodkan dengan betul lah mengikut ukuran yang diperolehi dalam eksperimen. Nah, okay, dan seterusnya pengiraan yang betul. Okay, so tulislah. So ada 3 aspek dekat sini. Okay, untuk jadual lah. Yang penting dia mesti apa-apa pun bentuk soalan, ingat saja kalau dia tak bagi tajuk semua tu, tulis dengan betul, tajuk dengan unit, lepas tu data direkodkan dengan tepat dan pengiraan tu direkodkan dengan tepat lah. Okay. Seterusnya kita lihat E2, okay, iaitu yang ini membina graf di bawah aspek berkomunikasi. Guna kertas graf yang disediakan untuk menjawab soalan ini menggunakan data di I11, lukiskan satu graf bagi kadar respirasi yeast melawan jisim yeast. Use the graph paper provided to answer these questions. Using the data in 1E1, draw a graph of the rate of yeast respiration against the mass of yeast. Okay, so dia mesti ada 3 kriteria dekat sini untuk membina graf, iaitu paksi, aksis. Kedua-dua paksi mesti mempunyai skala yang seragam. Okay, skala yang seragam, uniform scales. Okay, seterusnya yang kedua, titik, point, semua titik diplotkan dengan betul. All points correctly plotted. Okay, maksudnya semua titik mesti disambung, mesti disambung. Lepas tu bentuk, shape, garis lekukan licin dan menghubungkan semua titik. Okay, semua garis tu mesti dihubungkan. Okay, dihubungkan semua titik, okay, dan mesti licin lah. Okay, tengok dekat sini. Ini adalah satu contoh graf yang dilakarkan dengan betul lah. Okay, paksi skala mesti seragam. So tengok dekat sini, dia mesti seragam, mesti seragam. Kalau tak seragam memang automatik salah. Okay, seterusnya titik, semua titik diplotkan dengan betul. Ini adalah berdasarkan kita punya calculation tadi. So plot sahaja dengan betul berdasarkan calculation kamu tadi. Lepas tu bentuk, so mesti menghubungkan semua titik. Okay, untuk biologi dia mesti hubungkan semua titik. Tak boleh skip-skip, mesti semua titik. Okay, so peringatan dekat sini jangan membuat garis tambahan, nanti kita tengok. Pastikan jenis graf yang dikehendaki soalan, okay. Sama ada, kalau soalan itu minta graf garis, jangan lukis graf bar kan. Okay, kalau soalan itu nak graf bar, jangan lukis graf garis. Okay, kalau salah tu maksudnya bentuk dia akan jadi salah. Okay, so kuranglah markah. Okay, so kita tengok ini contoh jawapan yang kurang tepat. Okay, dia dah betul-betul semua, paksi pun betul, plot pun betul. Okay, apa dia salah dekat sini? Dia salah, graf ini mempunyai garis tambahan extra line. So tak boleh lah. Untuk biologi memang tak boleh lah untuk lebihan garis seperti ini. Okay, tak boleh. Okay, seterusnya kita sambung kepada soalan F. Berdasarkan graf yang dilukis dalam 1E2, terangkan hubungan antara jisim yeast dengan kadar respirasi yeast. Okay, so ini terangkan hubungan lah. Based on the graph drawn in 1E2, explain the relationship between the mass of yeast and the rate of yeast respirations. Okay, so yang ini cara menjawab. Yang pertama, anda mesti nyatakan hubungan tersebut. Okay, relationship lah. Okay, yang kedua, penerangan itu. Okay, E1 dekat sini lebih banyak enzim. Kepekatan enzim meningkat ataupun banyak tanpa aktif. Dia mana-mana lah, mana-mana poin tersebut. E2 lebih banyak substrat diuraikan. Okay, so kita tengok contoh jawapan. Ada yang ketiga dekat sini. Lebih banyak karbon dioksida dibebaskan. Okay, kita tengok sampel answer. Semakin bertambah jisim yeast, semakin bertambah kadar respirasi yeast. Maksudnya, kita mesti nyatakan hubungan dahulu. Nyatakan satu hubungan dahulu. Lepas tu baru explain. So explanation dekat sini lah, lebih banyak enzim akan menguraikan lebih banyak substrate dan lebih banyak karbon dioksida dibebaskan. Okay, so dekat sini yang BI, when the mass of yeast increase, the rate of yeast respiration increase. More enzyme will break down more substrates, more carbon dioxide are released. Okay, so ini adalah cara menjawab soalan hubungan. Okay, maksudnya nyatakan hubungan lepas tu baru explain. Okey, kita pergi ke soalan meramalkan untuk soalan ini. Okay, seorang murid yang lain menjalankan eksperimen yang sama dengan menggunakan larutan glukosa 20%. Okay, so dia guna larutan glukosa 20%. Ramalkan hasil eksperimen, terangkan ramalan anda. Another student carried out the same experiment by using 20% of glucose solution. Predict the outcome of this experiment. Explain your prediction. So yang pertama mesti nyatakan satu ramalan yang betul. Okay, state correct prediction. Lepas tu explain lah E1, kepekatan substrate bertambah. Lebih banyak substrate. Okay, concentration of substrate increase, more substrates. E2, meningkatkan pelanggaran berkesan dengan enzim. Increase the effective collision with enzymes. Okay, E3, lebih banyak produk dihasilkan, more product are produced. Okay, so contoh jawapan. So jawapan dia, okay, so ini adalah kamu nyatakan ramalan dulu lah. Okay, ketinggian terus buih adalah lebih daripada 4 cm. Okay, ataupun kamu gunakan kadar respirasi yeast lebih daripada 8 mm per minit. Okay, penerangan apabila kepekatan substrate meningkat, pelanggaran berkesan dengan enzim meningkat, lebih banyak produk dihasilkan. Okay. Seterusnya, height of float column is more than 4 cm. Rate of yeast respiration is more than 8 mm per minute. So this one is prediction. Okay, the explanation is the increasing of substrate concentrations increase the effective collision with enzymes. More product are produced. Okay, itu adalah untuk soalan meramalkan. Okay, kita pergi ke soalan H. Berdasarkan eksperimen ini, nyatakan definisi secara operasi bagi fermentasi yeast. Based on the experiment, state the operational definition for yeast fermentation. Okay, so dekat sini dia mesti ada 3 poin. Okay, yang pertama P1. P1 ni kita fikirkan satu teori berdasarkan apa kehendak soalan itu, iaitu dia nak fermentasi yeast. Okay, yeast fermentation. Okay, fikirkan satu teori yang berkaitan dengan yeast fermentation tersebut. Okay, lepas tu kamu kaitkan untuk eksperimen itu dia berlaku ke atas apa. Okay, apa yang digunakan dalam eksperimen tersebut. Okay, so P1 dekat sini penguraian glukosa tidak lengkap oleh yeast. Okay, incomplete breakdown of glucose by yeast. Okay, P2 ditunjukkan oleh ketinggian terus buih di dalam tabung didih. Shown by, determined by head of float column. So yang P2 ni, perkataan paling penting dekat sini adalah benda ni. Kalau BM kamu guna ditunjukkan. Kalau BI biasanya guna shown by ataupun determined by. Okay, yang P3 dia adalah satu pernyataan hipotesis ataupun terus gabung dengan pemboleh ubah dimanipulasi. Okay, iaitu dipengaruhi oleh jisim yeast affected by mass of yeast. Okay, ataupun kamu buat satu pernyataan hipotesis yang betul lah. Okay, so simple answer. Fermentasi yeast ialah satu proses penguraian glukosa tidak lengkap oleh yeast. Okay, kamu tengok dekat sini ditunjukkan oleh ketinggian terus buih di dalam tabung didih dan dipengaruhi oleh jisim yeast. Okay, so ini adalah pemboleh ubah bergerak balas yang secara operasi. Dan sama juga yang ini adalah pemboleh ubah manipulasi secara operasi. Okay, so yeast fermentation is incomplete breakdown of glucose by yeast shown by height of float column affected by the mass of yeast. Okay, so itu adalah cara menjawab soalan mendefinisi secara operasi. Okay, berdasarkan kepada perkongsian tadi, kemahiran proses sains yang telah diuji, okay, so semuanya sudah bincangkanlah. Okay, mengukur menggunakan nombor, ada menggunakan pembuangan ruang dan masa, yang ini hubungan tadi, mentafsir data, mendefinisi secara operasi dan membuat hipotesis. So semua aspek untuk kemahiran proses sains sudah dibincangkan. Okay. So itu sahaja perkongsian daripada saya pada pagi ini. Okay. So terima kasih dan selamat maju jaya kepada semua calon SPM 2021. So thank you. Nanti kita masuk kepada sesi Q&A. Okay, kalau ada soalan boleh type dekat chat box lah. Okay, thank you. Jumpa lagi.
Terima kasih diucapkan kepada Cikgu Rosianie, anak Misur, atas perkongsian teknik menjawab kertas 3 itu tadi. Hadirin sekalian, kini kita akan ke agenda yang seterusnya, iaitu sesi soal jawab untuk kertas 3. Jadi jika ada sebarang soalan ataupun kemusykilan, anda boleh menulis di ruangan chat dan saya akan bacakan soalan-soalan yang telah diberikan. Okey, dah ada soalan nampaknya. Okey, soalan yang pertama daripada Foodies. Okey, soalannya adakah prosedur disediakan atau perlu buat sendiri?
Okey, Foodies. Foodies dah lapar kan? Okey. Dengar sini. Okey. So untuk prosedur dia terpulang lah. Mungkin tahun itu untuk biologi dia suruh kamu buat sendiri prosedur. Okey, ataupun mungkin tahun itu physics. Dia macam tu. Okey, tapi untuk sampel yang lembaga peperiksaan bagi, yang untuk sampel dalam buku format, prosedur untuk biologi tidak disediakan. Okey, so kamu kena pastikan kamu tahu menjalankan eksperimen tersebut. Okey, so itu dari saya lah. Foodies.
Okey, terima kasih Cikgu. Okey, seterusnya kita baca soalan daripada I like to sleep. Okey, Cikgu, adakah soalan yang diuji adalah dalam senarai eksperimen dalam buku teks sahaja?
Kalau berkaitan dengan soalan yang diuji ni, dia lebih kepada sebab saya hanya explain untuk teknik. Okay, so untuk penggubalan soalan tu, tapi rasanya memang based on buku teks lah, mesti dari buku teks and di SKP juga. Okay, so dia akan lari lah. Okay. Dan idea dia mesti dari buku teks. So okay, I like to sleep.
Okey, terima kasih. Okey, seterusnya saya baca soalan daripada Alisha Farhana binti Muhammad Rizal. Cikgu, jika saya tertinggal unit di kolom dalam jadual, adakah data bagi kolom tersebut akan diterima?
Ya, data akan diterima. Dia cuma penalize dekat title tu sahaja. Okay, so maksudnya data tu betul. Kalau title tu tertinggal unit, so markah dekat unit itu, titles itu akan reject lah. Okay, so data masih ada markah.
Okey, terima kasih. Okey, soalan yang seterusnya daripada Ervina Natasha. Result eksperimen yang diperoleh oleh setiap pelajar memang betul atau penyemak akan menelitinya terlebih dahulu?
Yang ini sebab soalan untuk tahun ini dia first time untuk peperiksaan amali sains bersepadu ni, so saya agak susah untuk menjawab soalan itu. Tapi bagi pendapat saya, kamu tulis sahaja, kamu buat sahaja apa yang kamu nampak dalam eksperimen tersebut. Okay, so itu pesanan saya lah. Okay, so itu dari Ervina kah? Ervina Natasha.
Okey, saya cari lagi kalau ada soalan. Okey, pelajar boleh tulis soalan ya dekat ruangan chat. Okey, soalan daripada Rohaizat Abdullah. Cikgu, sekiranya graf tidak seragam atau tidak lurus, adakah diterima?
Okey, tidak. As long as titik itu disambungkan. Okay, as long as titik yang diplot tu disambungkan. Kadang-kadang graf bio ni dia tak semestinya lurus. Kadang-kadang dia melengkung. Okay, so yang penting kamu mesti plot daripada satu titik ke satu titik. Okay, sekiranya graf tidak seragam. Graf, oh maksudnya mungkin yang macam dalam fizik tu dia buat straight line kan macam tu kan maksud dia ni rohaizat ni. Okay, so tak boleh biologi dia mesti sambung dari satu titik ke satu titik. Okay, so itu jawapan cikgu lah rohaizat.
Okey, harap Rohaizat boleh clear untuk soalan tersebut. Okey, kita cari lagi soalan.
Okay.
Okey, sekejap ya, saya scroll dulu. Okey, soalan daripada Zofirah binti Aini. Cikgu, boleh ke jawapan dalam dua bahasa? Soalan satu dalam BM, soalan dua dalam BI.
Okay, tak ada masalah. Zofira boleh sahaja. Okay, dalam BI dan BM memang diterima. Okay, as long as membawa maksud. Okay.
Okey. Okey, seterusnya kita lihat soalan. Okey, Marisa Rose, untuk soalan definisi secara operasi, boleh ditulis dalam 3 ayat berasingan?
Ya, boleh. Boleh ditulis dalam ayat. Tapi biasanya P1 dengan P2 tu biasanya dia biasanya combine. Dia mesti combination. P1 dengan P2 sebab dia ayat dia macam bergabung. Okay, sebab dia ditunjukkan, shown by, determined by, macam tu. Dia mesti bersambung tapi ayat yang ketiga, hipotesis tu kamu boleh tulis different sentence lah. Okay, maksudnya satu ayat yang baru. Okay. So, biasanya P1, P2 gabung. Biasanya lah. Okay. So, itu jawapan dari saya lah untuk Marisa.
Okay, thank you cikgu. Okay, next kita lihat soalan daripada Eng Sin Sin. Cikgu, formula untuk pengiraan akan sentiasa diberikan ataupun tidak?
Oh, setakat inilah kalau untuk format lama pun memang diberi. So, hopefully untuk format baru ni diberi jugalah. Tapi pesanan saya harap pelajar sentiasa bersedia dengan formula lah. Okay, jangan mengharapkan dia sentiasa ada disediakan dalam soalan. Okay, sebab takut tiba-tiba nanti tak ada disediakan. Okay,
Okey, mungkin kita boleh lihat soalan daripada sekejap ya. Midari. Okey, Midari. Cikgu, kalau jawapan untuk manipulated variables ada 2, perlu tulis semua atau tulis satu sahaja?
Cikgu, kalau jawapan untuk manipulated variables ada 2, perlu tulis semua? Okey, biasanya tulis satu sahaja. Tulis satu sahaja cukup. Okey, jangan bazir masa. Okey, tapi pastikan jawapan tu betul lah sebab kalau kamu tulis 2 pun biasanya dia baca yang pertama sahaja. Okey, biasanya akan baca yang pertama sahaja. Yang kedua tu memang tak akan dibaca. Okey, itu dari saya. Midari. Okey.
Okey. Seterusnya kita soalan daripada Muhammad Zulkarnain. Are we allowed to repeat the experiment if we fail or dissatisfied with the results?
If you have time, kalau masih ada masa lagi kamu boleh repeat. Rasanya macam itulah. Mungkin kita boleh minta dari penyelia tu bahan tapi biasanya sebab masa yang disediakan hanya 40 minit sahaja untuk kamu menjalankan eksperimen dengan membuat menjawab. Okay, so kena hati-hatilah. Okay, kalau ada masa I think boleh repeat. Okay, tapi masa terhad lah Zulkarnain. Okay, so itu dari saya.
Okay, so saya akan pilih satu soalan yang terakhir daripada You Delight. Adakah rajah eksperimen diberikan dan perlukah lukis rajah semasa menulis prosedur?
Okey. Biasanya untuk kalau ikut contoh tu dia bagi untuk membantu calon. Okey, untuk membuat prosedur biasanya gambar rajah jarang memberikan markah. Okey, kecuali gambar rajah itu memang lengkap dan dianggap berfungsi. Okey, baru dia boleh memberi markah lah. Okey, so biasanya rajah tak lukis pun tak kisah. Okay. Yang penting ayat tu sebenarnya, ayat untuk kamu mengendalikan pemberi ubah 3 pemberi ubah dan 1 precaution step tadi. Okey.
Okey, terima kasih untuk Cikgu Rosianie atas perkongsian yang diberikan berkenaan dengan teknik menjawab kertas 3 dan juga sesi soal jawab sebentar tadi. Okay, saya mohon maaf jika ada soalan-soalan peserta yang tidak sempat saya bacakan kerana nampaknya masa tidak mengizinkan. Okey,
Kalau saya
sekarang
jawab,
boleh.
kalau saya jawab satu soalan lagi boleh? Saya tengok penting juga tu.
Okey, boleh
Dia
Cikgu.
kata, cikgu untuk unit, bolehkah kita guna short form? Okay, sebagai contoh minute, min. Okay, ini dengar baik-baik. Kalau untuk BM pastikan tulis penuh, minute, M-I-N-I-T. Kalau BI, kalau kamu guna in English, so kamu boleh letak M-I-N sahaja. Okay, so itu sangat penting BM, minute, BI, min, guna min sahaja pun boleh. Okay, itu sahajalah. Ya.
Okey, baik. Terima kasih Cikgu Rosianie.
Okey.
Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, saya kongsikan sekali lagi paparan QR code untuk mengisi kehadiran anda pada webinar kali ini. Bagi guru-guru dan pegawai yang mengikuti kita pada hari ini, berikut merupakan pautan kehadiran atau anda boleh imbas QR code yang sedang dipaparkan di skrin. Saya ingatkan lagi sekali kepada semua guru dan pegawai, anda perlu menggunakan ID D5 untuk mengakses pautan tersebut. Boleh juga dapatkan pautan link kehadiran di ruangan live chat. Paparan yang saya sedang paparkan sekarang adalah link kehadiran dan QR code untuk kehadiran dan tinjauan keberkesanan bagi murid. Jadi saya harap semua murid yang hadir pada bengkel kita pada pagi ini bolehlah imbas QR code yang telah dipaparkan pada skrin anda dan isi tinjauan keberkesanan untuk bengkel ini. Anda juga boleh dapatkan pautan kehadiran dan tinjauan keberkesanan pada ruangan live chat. Nampaknya selesai sudah bengkel pembugaran Kecemerlangan Biologi SPM 2021 untuk kertas 1, kertas 2 dan kertas 3. Kami ingin mengucapkan setinggi-tinggi penghargaan dan ucapan terima kasih kepada penceramah pada hari ini, iaitu Cikgu BIBIANA Siu dan Cikgu Rosianie Anak Misur atas perkongsian yang diberikan. Tidak lupa juga ucapan terima kasih kepada Jabatan Kuasa Penganjur sesi webinar Kecemerlangan bagi mata pelajaran Biologi yang telah memberikan komitmen sehingga bengkel ini dapat disempurnakan dengan jayanya. Terima kasih kepada semua guru, murid-murid dan hadirin-hadirat sekalian yang mengikuti bengkel pembugaran Kecemerlangan Biologi secara langsung di YouTube channel My PPD Miri TV. Terima kasih kerana sanggup meluangkan masa untuk mendengar perkongsian ilmu yang disampaikan pada hari ini. Semoga apa yang disampaikan pada hari ini memberi ilham, memberi faedah kepada calon-calon terutamanya untuk menjawab soalan SPM pada tahun 2021. Semoga kejayaan akan mengiringi anda semua dan mendapat keputusan yang cemerlang dalam peperiksaan SPM nanti. Selaku moderator, saya menyusun 10 jari mohon ampun dan maaf andainya terdapat sebarang kekurangan sepanjang saya mengendalikan bengkel ini. Salam hormat sehingga kita bertemu lagi.